Hello, wherever and whenever you are, and welcome back to Phoenix Iwaki, and a very special day today as we are jumping into our first of many, I hope, community one-shots, as we have some of our friends from our Discord here, and our very good friend Marco, who should introduce properly in just a moment. A massive thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to meet you all and have you here for our Humblewood adventure. Now, as we are jumping into things here, let me say a massive thank you to the wonderful Hit Point Press for their fabulous Humblewood setting. If you head on over to their homepage, you can get all sorts of things, including this one-shot for free, I believe, if it's still available there, as this was given out by them on Free RPG Day last year. I think it was November it came out. But yes, I've been looking forward to playing it for quite some time, so I'm very much looking forward to jumping in today with all of these lovely people. And a big welcome to everybody over there in chat. Thank you for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to have you all here. And of course, let us say a big thank you to the wonderful Sirenscape for allowing us to play sound effects and music and things throughout our games and broadcast it across the world. Okay, now let us introduce these players and then we shall jump into today's adventure. Now, let us please just introduce yourselves, and if there's anywhere that people can find you and see you around, then please introduce that as well. And then we shall introduce your characters once we're into the session itself. So, first up, a very special guest from Corsair's Cove, Roll for Damage, and all sorts of other fabulous places, and someone who's much more knowledgeable about Humblewood than I, and making me quite nervous. Josh the Pirate, welcome.
Vast mateys, how be ye? I be Josh the Pirate, yes. You can find me on my own channel, Corsair's Cove, where I run Humblewood games mostly, and we do a few community nights and play video games and so forth. We're on a slight hiatus at the moment because I'm just finishing moving house, but we will be starting up again soon, and yeah, bringing you new wonderful D&D content. But for now, I'm playing mostly on Phoenix Iwaki, actually, at the moment.
Pleasure to have you.
But I will be on Roll for Damage next Monday playing in the Doom Donkeys Viking game, which is exciting for me.
Nice. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on over. Quantum, hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
This is my second D&D stream, so you can't really find me anywhere. I do have, obviously, a stream, which was Quantum Clock.
Fantastic. Thank you. And it's a pleasure to have you here today. And moving across, Theo, also known as Maharishi.
Hello, everybody. I am the Maharishi on all the Twitchers and the Twitters. I'm a cog in the corporate machine by day, but on Monday nights you can usually find me on Milady Saito's channel playing Quinn, the human druid. But tonight, I am playing Theo, the Furbolg druid. Do I like druids? A little bit. Guess so.
Indeed.
Maybe.
Indeed.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me to jump into this great one-shot. Been quite a fan for a while.
Absolute pleasure. Glad to meet you. And yeah, thank you for joining us as well. And last but certainly not least, as Buhawi, I think I'm pronouncing that, maybe. Please correct me if I'm wrong. As our favorite, one of our favorite members in chat all the time. Very pleasure to see you here, Roveljax.
Hello, I'm Roveljax. I'm living in the same time zone as John here.
a rare thing.
Yeah, and and I'm also, this is my first time I'm in a one shot, a streamed one shot. So let's hope it goes well. And fingers crossed. This is one of the many community one shots we're getting involved. I can see a lot of potential in this.
Looking forward to it. No matter how successful it will be fun. So let us see. We'll see how we go. All right. Thank you very, very much. Let us chill our Sirenscape out a little bit of our epic start here. And
I feel so immersed
into our adventure. It's, literally speaking, it's Egyptian, but hey. It's kind of mystical.
Works.
It's fancy.
Fans of the Assassin's Creed franchise might recognize it. Okay. Okay. Now, as we are diving in to our game, we leave the regular locales of our other campaigns as we go further west, leaving the Sword Coast, over the Moonshay Isles, and further out to sea, where few have dared to sail, but those few intrepid that have found themselves in the various isles of the Humblewood setting, as that is where we have put it in our world. And there is the original Humblewood, with its original Alderheart, the one that you have met before on the Sword Coast, ours being tucked in there between Waterdeep and Baldur's Gate, near Daggerford and around that area. That is a mere sapling of the original Alderheart, which towers above the forests of Humblewood here in the far Western Isles. But we are not within sight of even such a massive tree, as we are far, far south in the Tanglewoods jungle. And you four are guides working in that jungle. You take intrepid adventurers and even more intrepid tourists into the various jungle locations, visiting the ancient sites of the old Eluran Empire, an offshoot of the Tabaxi race over here in the Humblewood lands. And as you work your way around here, guiding various people of various aptitudes, you have to work a bit harder with some groups than others, but you have been working your trade here for a certain amount of time. Some of you are local, some of you have travelled from the Sword Coast and ventured through the Moonshay Isles and found yourselves over here in these far western isles. And you are all guides working out of one of the largest guide stations in the jungle here, the guide station known as Wayfair. There is a large stone pavilion in the center where there is a social area and various sleeping quarters for the guides, and several private bedrooms and things for visiting guests before they head out on their expeditions. There are storehouses for weapons and victuals and other supplies. And you bide your time here until such an opportunity presents itself for you to work and take a group of adventurers into the jungle itself. It was during one of these lulls that you are waiting here when a famous adventuring company has returned from the jungle, the Companions of the Blue Rose. They led an expedition out into the jungles to one of the ancient temples, and they have returned, apparently victorious and successful, as they are in a celebratory mood, and they have invited all of you to a feast in the central area of the Wayfair guide station. As we focus in on as the dusk falls over the jungle and some of the wilder, noisier cries go quiet as the predators start to creep through the darkness of the trees and the hanging vines and the pungent flowers blooming in the jungles here. The camp is still blazing alight with the firelight that springs up and the torches carried by the wardens, the Tila tree wardens, the lizard-like guides that are guarding the perimeter. And there's a great number of them here at the moment, as the Companions of the Blue Rose had hired these Tila tree wardens to guide them on their mission as well. As we enter into the pavilion, great tongues of yellow and orange flame frolic and flicker on a bed of crackling tinder, casting dancing shadows that leap across the marble dome of Wayfarer's central pavilion. At the center of the camp, 4 figures recline, resting after several days of hard travel in the heart of the jungle. The Companions of the Blue Rose. A large, white-furred, very fluffy Eluran, the leader of the Companions, speaks up. "Give us a story," the sleek Eluran in gold and green silk calls to her companions. "Sing about our adventure in the Temple of Nabar." Between a resting spiral-horned Capran and a smiling Vulpin in gold armor, a fluffy little Gerbine in a purple gown grimaces. But with a sharp look from her leader, the Gerbine sighs in resignation. Settling her fingers upon the strings of a rosewood sitar, she begins to play. And at the sound of that music, that is when you four arrive in the pavilion as well, from your various duties, having finished for the day. Please describe who you are playing, and what do we see as you stride into the firelights. Marco?
Well, Marco is a former she-captain, and he's a large servant man, so he's about 6.5 foot tall, and he's a rogue by class, but he would never describe himself as such. A grove servant, so doesn't have quite the same rack of antlers. It's more a pair of horns, and that's what he limits himself to. Former sea captain, but sort of washed up here, so to speak, and has been working for the last few years as a guide. And he still maintains the uniform. However, he liked the uniform, so he never got rid of it. So quite a high collar, stiff, sort of think Horatio Hornblower, but a deer. And a brace of hand crossbows that are slung across his chest. And he looks around, and he seems to pause and just take in the atmosphere, and just huff to himself. The forest is far too humid for him as it is, and then all the fires. He was like, "Why are the fires always with the fires? These frog people."
Thank you. Okay, coming in from the opposite side of the pavilion, we have Taproot. Taproot Nightfur.
Tap is a Mapatch. She's quite young, considering Mapatches hit maturity at age 8, and she's 9. She was from a small settlement, and ended up being picked up by the sorry, I'm getting a little nervous.
No problem. How did you end up here at Wayfair?
She worked as a monk escort in the library at Alderheart, but in order to expand her knowledge, she decided to become a guide to learn more about the plants and animals in the area.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay. And also, I wanted to say a special thank you for... let me not mispronounce this. For our beloved savior, Matthew Mercer.
Blessed be his name.
Is it Cerberus Assembly, right?
The Cerberus Assembly.
I got it. Okay.
Assembly.
Yes, I wanted to say thank you, Quantum, for introducing the Cerberus Assembly into the Wackyverse. It is its first appearance, and is now law. And there will be Cerberus Assembly libraries popping up all over the place now.
Nice.
She's a member of the Cobalt Soul.
Oh, that's Cobalt Soul one. Sorry.
The Cobalt Soul. Very
I see.
good.
Sorry. Excuse me.
A follower
That's. Go ahead.
She's a follower of the Mistress of Knowledge.
Thank you. Okay. Awesome. Okay, now, moving on. Theo, as you arrive, a much taller figure.
Why, yes. Now, what you see before you come strolling in to the firelight is a very large Thurbolg, larger than probably most of you have seen before. And that, as they walk across, trip a little bit, because Theo Barkskin is a bit clumsy, not the most dexterous of Thurbolgs, but it matters not when you are one with the trees and one with nature. As it is so for Theo. largely, and I do mean largely, nearly 7'2", coming in about 300 pounds too. Not light of foot, but large of heart, with and feet to match. Theo grew up mostly on the outskirts of normal society, where a lot of furbolgs like to live away from others, and one with their Fey ancestry, rolling with the elves a little bit. But hey, life be life, and we love all kind of living creatures. In fact, so much, Theo spent much of their youth looking into archaeology, digging up the remains of ancient civilizations, learning their languages. So they have a special knack for being able to converse with such creatures that they may not have been able to communicate with before. In fact, sometimes even the plants can talk to him. Now,
thank you very much.
Having been haven't been in the forest long enough, running into a lovely little gnome named Jemmy. Jemmy took Theo under her wing and taught him everything about the world of the druidic orders. Now, specifically, Theo is a druid of the shadows, and so perhaps if we get a chance and you hear a ritual spell, you'll hear a lot of snoring from Theo, because during that 10 minutes, they take a little nappy poo. That's how they assess their magical. Thank you very much. And would like to say that blue roses do not happen naturally in the world, so something funny is going on with that.
That's heraldry for you, taking liberties all over the place. All right, and last but not least, we have Buhawi. Robblejacks, please.
So, as you see approaching alongside the other members, you'd see a Aarakocra, which, let's be real, some would say are bigger because of the strig. And you'd see almost like a falcon or a hawk-like type of Aarakocra with brown feathers, which are turning lighter as it goes down, with a black beak and black talons. You'd also see that this Aarakocra has a feathered companion alongside him, as well as wearing what appears to be leather armor and donning a cloak at his back. And for those with a sharp eye, you'd see a small gemstone on his side. And anyone see it would guess it's a luck stone, which, if anyone knows about it, would know about it.
Thank you.
So for
go Buhawi, yeah.
Go.
All right, so all right, I'll just speak first.
No
Don't
problem.
worry. So where's this Aarakocra come from? Well, he's from the east, like from Karatur, from the Bawa Islands, where he has been working as a guide and a hunter for a sect of hunters following the way of Myliki. Though in Bawa, Myliki isn't what it's supposed to be, more like an aspect of it. And so when opportunity arises for this Aarakocra to head out west, he took it, hoping to serve others in the name of Myliki, or whatever aspect of it is.
Okay. Yes, certainly very present here in the Tangle Wilds. Sorry, I said Tangle Woods before. Tangle Wilds is what I meant to say. Okay. Sorry, Tap. Yeah.
I forgot to introduce Sable.
Oh, thank you.
Which is Tap's living shadow.
Yes, indeed.
Very
now, Tap, I need you to roll me a d6 actually.
Oh yeah, I remember.
First roll.
Indeed.
First roll.
Big money, no whammies.
Traits of Sable.
Stop.
4.
Some are too young to know.
4. Okay. Noted. Thank you. So, yes, the four of you enter into the firelight, and as you do, your own shadows spring up behind you, dancing in the flickering frames. But Tap's shadow gets up and leaves. It seems rather curious about what's happening with the feast, and heads on over in the directions of the heavily laden tables to peruse the delicious berries and roasted vegetables and hunted game that has been brought in this day and is here for this feast here. They're getting first dibs in apparently. Okay.
Sable.
Thank you.
Sable, please. Please return.
Behave.
I do believe you lost your shadow again, young Master Quantum.
Yes.
It does happen occasionally.
Yeah, I think you.
Like a shadow does.
Those of you
like a
that
shadow
know
does.
Tap, okay, you've seen this happen before. All
Kind
right.
of figured.
And never ceases to be unsettling. Does the shadow eat the shadow of the food, or does the shadow eat actual food?
Good
To this
question.
day, I think about it at night.
Oh, eating scraps. Because if your shadow eats scraps, then my companion here might be a bit annoyed.
Little
if you know what I
competition.
mean. Relax.
Oh,
No.
well,
As you
plenty
all
to go
arrive.
around.
Indeed, there is a bountiful feast here as the companions of the Blue Flower are celebrating in style. And as I said, their Gerbine Bard starts to play and sing of their exploits. She waxes lyrical about the path that they blazed through the jungle and how treacherous it was. But because of their leader's guidance, they made it through safely. One wrong move, and they could have ended up in serious trouble. They crossed a rickety rope bridge over a plunging ravine down to the Red Roar River, toiling and churning beneath, splitting the jungle in twain. You are all familiar with this river. And you know that it is the only way to cross in the direction of the Temple of Nabar. She sung the praises of Mateo, their frost druid, frost wizard, I think, as she's right. And she sang how he disarmed the temple's traps and allowed them to pass through unabetted. And you can see the goat-like frost wizard that they have looks very, very shell-shocked and perturbed about being reminded of all these various traps that they made their way through. And she finally talks about how they reached the center of the temple and they found the pedestal bearing the fabled heart of Dako. And you know that they have brought something very valuable back from this temple of Nabu. No, not Nabu. Nabar. Sorry. No Queen Amidala here. That famous old Illyrian queen.
You some people gonna die?
No. I
heard
Amidala.
I heard there's some skinny constructs in there.
Yeah, watch out for those ones. Roger. Okay, so...
Oh, too many puns. Too many.
And as the bard, the Gerbine Bard, continues to sing and entertain the gathered guides and adventurers here, you grab yourselves some food and a cushion around the fireside. And what would you like to do?
What was the leader's name?
You have not been introduced. The Illurin, the white-furred Illurin is over at the side there, enjoying the bard singing their praises.
Hmm.
I think we should go and introduce ourselves, don't you?
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
So, and whilst Buhawi was busy interacting with his companions, his feathery friend Agila would fly and take a look around the area
Noted.
where the feast is hosting.
Okay, so yes, the bird leaves your wrist and flaps up into the space around the marble dome of the interior here, just keeping an eye out here. You see plenty of guides that you know from your time spent here at Wayfair, and a couple of other visitors coming in or heading out. You're not sure which way. Okay, so yes, Tap, what are you doing?
Tap is sitting and pulling out her notebook to scribble down all of the information she sees about the people around.
Okay,
Just going,
so just
oh, yes.
observing.
Very, very interesting. Yes, did not know that they we're that tall.
Okay.
People watching to the extreme.
Yes. Theo, what do you think?
Well, no time like the present. Theo walks right over to the leader carrying a large, very well-worn staff that is much larger than most any other humanoid creatures, frankly, with lots of vines and little bits of wood, it's kind of a mishmash of other varietals, if you will. Walks up and looks for the leader and hoists out a big old paw and says, "Allow me to introduce myself. I am Theo Barkskin. I'm a guide in these parts. To whom am I making the acquaintance?"
And you, head over to the white-furred Elurin, who is here. I'm putting that in Roll20 now. There she is. And she turns and looks at you as you come over and accepts the handshake. A pleasure to meet you. I am Nadir Dar.
Nadir Dar. Is that
leader
correct?
of the Companions of the Blue Rose.
It is a pleasure. I have such a wonderful story of your current adventure. How was that? It sounds very exciting.
Don't you find they're so compelling when they're true?
Well, perception is 100% of the law, my dear. So as long as you perceive it to be true, it is true.
Well, our prize is real and is going to get us a very nice reward when we take it back to be displayed in our hometown.
Do we see it? I mean, is there...
No,
is
you
it being
know
displayed
whatever
now?
they brought back with them is being guarded in a tent in the center
Okay.
of the camp. Has three Tiller tree wardens positioned around it at all times.
So let me bring my companions over here, please. Everyone, come over here and meet the leader of the Blue Rose.
Marco?
I was going to ask what
Yes.
an Ellerin is doing, looting previous positions of the Ellerin, the old Ellerin Empire. Is
Why should these priceless relics languish forgotten in the jungles? Let us return them where many Aurorans can appreciate them and enjoy them. In a museum.
and profit from them? Yes.
And as
So Howie?
you guys are conversing, Howie would join in, and he would chime in with saying, "Some treasures may be cursed. I've seen back where I'm from. I've seen people trying to loot what you should not loot, and as a result, let's just say they met an untimely demise. Sometimes grisly, sometimes not so much. But either way, they dead."
Unfortunately, not all adventurers are created equal, and the Companions of the Blue Rose excel where others fail.
Cap calls
Really?
from the place where she's sitting and goes, we should not leave items of cultural and knowledge significance so far out where no one can find the truth in these matters.
Well spoken, my Mapak friend, and Nadia raises their goblets to you.
And I have to completely agree. As a former archaeologist myself, I appreciate the need for knowledge and an understanding of the past, as long as it is for that reason. Now, I understand others can benefit from that discovery, as long as it's understandable and no one is taking advantage of anyone.
There was nobody there. Just some old statues and a few haggard traps. But our friend Matteo, and she gestures over at the goat-like spellcaster, was happy to deal with those. He's just kind of like looking into his cup and like shaking his head. Here he is, by the way.
No.
Can I make an insight check on Mateo? I would like to determine how much full of malarkey Nadir is.
Sure.
I would
cool.
actually help out help him out as well. Like tap on the shoulder, asking, "Do you notice anything odd?"
Okay.
Because Mateo isn't a servant, is he? I believe he is a member of a new race.
Let me double check for you, because some of them are like just like you know, they still call them like server and stuff, but a different type.
Oh right.
Bear with me. I can
might
find
be a
out.
different subclass, subrace of servant.
Yeah, they have done that. Like they'd
The book is expanded. The second book.
Yes. Yeah. They like one of the pre-gen characters that you can play in this is a macaw parrot, but it says it's a type of Luna, which are the doves, right?
That's not where I would have gone with it. I would have said raptor
right?
for a parrot.
So yeah. Let me let my computer catch up, coping with the PDF. It's like, oh, so heavy. All the things happening. All the things happening.
I feel you.
All right.
I feel you.
We just
notice anything
just
odd? You mean
slow.
besides the talking cat, talking raccoon, talking cow, and talking bird?
He is. Yeah, it is a type of servant as well.
Oh, marvelous. So yeah, I am up as one servant to another, and sort of try and tell what his feelings are on the subject of his genius and bravery.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to head over and talk to him?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay. So yeah, you head on over there, and he kind of looks up, kind of startles almost as he was lost in his own thoughts, and
I give him the traditional servant greeting and making like meaningful like hello.
It is reciprocated.
This vaguely startled, slightly angry look that is actually just tradition among servant.
Yes.
And he said, hello. I hear you were extremely useful on your adventure. A genius, you might say.
I'm Matteo the Frost Sage. I did my
Marco
best.
Vilnius, pleased to meet you.
It would have
What
been...
manner of traps did you deal with?
Oh, you know, the regular kind of, temple traps, tricks, and things being shifted about place. It would have been fine if they hadn't all reset on the way out.
Ah, that's unfortunate, yes. On that particular comment, may I try and determine whether or not he's full of crap?
Please make an insight check, yeah. AGM Workshop
13.
13. Okay. Yeah, he seems haunted by the experience of going through this temple, and seems to be telling the truth that they reset on the way out.
Any large rocks, circular rocks that sort of roll down long, narrow, perfectly designed for them corridors, that sort of thing?
We had feared such a trap, but it was all right because where the heart of Dako was residing on its pedestal, we very nimbly replaced it with an equally heavy sack of sand. And
bag of sand.
And it was okay. Yeah. It was okay. Can I just say,
haven't we all done the bag of sand trap?
That was not quite from your prompt. That is in the module. That is in the one shot.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's such a great trope.
Yeah.
And by the way, as you can see in the arts there, the Nadia does have a coiled whip on her belt and a battered-looking leather hat to her side.
Oh boy. They on the nose there.
Okay, so Buhawi, what are you doing? Your companion returns to your arm after spiraling around and stealing a few things from the table.
Anything he should be concerned about, or is it just mainly food?
No, just a couple of roasted meats.
All right.
The rarer ones. Some of it was a bit well cooked for their liking. Yeah.
Yeah. Then how we should take those that Aguila won't wouldn't consume, and then he would head to Marco, asking him.
Asking him?
Yeah, yeah. Asking him anything we should be concerned about with this artifact that the companions found, or.
Yes, actually, I was about to ask. Matteo, you're the artifact itself. I mean, you're the one who's magically attuned. What is the Heart of Dako? I can understand not getting to look at it, but what is it?
It's sorry, Tap. Yeah.
Can Tap do a wisdom or history check on the mention of that?
Sure. Yeah, please give me a history check. And while Tap's like hearing the name, kind of thinking back, maybe leafing through that book of notes of theirs, Marco, Matteo says to you, "It's not the kind of thing that one attunes to." It was nice. It was. Is that natural 20?
It was a natural 20, and then it was plus 5.
Plus
Okay.
5.
Come on, as you've seen, as you've seen from the other side, like say around these parts, if you've got them, folks,
Yes.
let them fly.
Hit them.
Especially with our new spinnies. Woot woot.
I've never
Alright.
gotten to use this one. This is the Corsair's Code Net 20.
Nice. Oh, look at that tentacle. Nice. Big octopus? Kraken?
Kraken, yeah.
Yes. Fabulous. Okay, as Matteo says to you, Marco, as you disappear behind all the phoenixes flying across the screen, he says, it's not the kind of thing you're attuned to. It was something to do with the temple itself, but I don't know. It seems to have been decayed over time. No seeming effect once we took control of it, and now it happened after we left the temple either. So now it means nothing. You're okay, actually.
Yeah.
Josh, sorry. Another expert yourself, aren't you? Sorry, Matteo originally hails from Icewind Dale. He's one of those mountain goat servants, and that's all Yorkshire for me. So my accents are regional, not racial. So
Love it.
What did she end up getting from the history check?
you recognize
That's
the
that
name.
match, basically.
Yeah, you recognize the name Heart of Dako as being an artifact from the days of the Illyrian Empire, and there was something. Sorry, even with a natural 20, it's kind of it's lost to history, kind of. But you do get quite a bit from that. It was a protective item, and was one of several placed in temples throughout the Tanglewild jungles. And it did serve an important purpose, and not one that you think would diminish over time. And Tap, as you're thinking on the name, a figure comes over to you. Another Illurin, but looking very different to Nadia, as you are approached by someone you've met here, a fellow academic and lover of books and knowledge, the Illurin Caspian Eskander. Here.
Name. Solid name.
As they come over, an elderly Illurin with grey coming into their fur, and they pop down. Now then, young Tap, have you found out anything interesting today? Old Caspian loves to hear your tales.
Well, I have recorded quite a lot in my journal today. How many ants have gotten into my friend's bowl over there, or the
Interesting
how he just
conversation
gives
about
it
the new artifact that
really
we
quick there
found.
at the Tap before looking back.
Yes, knock out the bowl. Always, like, it's like every morning, you knock out your shoes before you put them on, and you knock out your bowl before you eat something. Yes, life at Wayfair guide station. And Caspian says to you, Tap, interesting. I must show you something later. The returned adventurers here brought several tablets that I have been deciphering. Maybe you'd be able to help me.
Of course. Anything for the pursuit of knowledge.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm so glad you left the Old Heart and ventured down here. There's very few folks who recognize the usefulness and the value in books and knowledge. I suppose in their own right, they keep close and treasure the knowledge of nature and the jungles that they carry with them. But I don't know. It's all a bit going on your gut instincts for my liking. I prefer what history can teach us, don't you?
Tap gives an awkward smile and nods.
Right. Now then, Tap. Pop quiz, little one, pop quiz. What do you know of the heart of Dako?
Tap scratches her ear in thought for a moment and turns to go. As many might look back in the records, there is not much known other than it was an item of great significance of fallen nations and cultures.
Indeed. That is why I'm so happy to get my hands on these tablets, that we might uncover and delve deeper into its past.
When might we be able to look at said tablets?
Well, you're very welcome once you've had your dinner to come and have a look at them with me.
Tap glances over at Sable the Shadow, grabbing the food since she's not eating.
Yes. I'm just, yes, eating for the both of you. It seems you look over by the table and they're not there. And then as you start to look around, you kind of look behind you, the opposite direction of the fire blazing in the center, and there's a and Sable just comes snapping back to you. And then you turn around, and unseen to you, but Sable, the shadow, turns around about 3 seconds later. Imagine saying something and everyone over there in chat hearing it.
Oh my. It seems Sable is getting enough food for the both of us. How could I possibly eat when there is much to do?
And as you and Caspian are talking to each other, Bukawi, one of the other companions comes over to you, a Vulpan in glorious golden armor, swaggers up with a certain amount of bravado as Errol Vespero comes over to you. Ah, my friends, that is a fine falcons you have there.
He would turn
To Bahawi, that is. Yeah.
The Arcrocker would turn towards the Vulpan with a curious look. Oh?
Your friends there on your wrist. A fine specimen. Where did you capture it?
Not really capture it, but rather become used to it. You know, I found this little one when I was in let's say Karatur.
Indeed. I have traveled there once or twice. How is the old place?
It was all right, despite some of the wars happening over there over time. You know, such petty feuds. Meanwhile, there has been growing interest with some of the Western powers, from Chisenta to Baldur's Gate. All kinds of people want to head east. I'm not really sure why.
I have heard there is much heroics and adventure to be had in Chisenta. I might head over that direction myself once we have delivered our prize back to the north.
Hopefully one day. I plan to after this, if this job here in Moonshade Isles didn't work out, I might head back to Flan. And I heard they have some work over there as well. But
Indeed.
who knows?
Well, good luck to you. I hope that you are as successful as we.
Hopefully. But you'll never know.
Ah, look at that. My goblet is run empty. I must refresh. How about you? Are you drinking?
I don't really drink, especially in the evenings. Let's just say I had a bit of an incident involving one of my companions when it comes to having drink.
I'm sad to hear that. I hope it was not fatal. Now,
It was not
Excuse me.
fatal, thankfully. Farewell.
I, on the other hand, do drink, so bye-bye. Because everyone grabs a flagon and refreshes their cup. Okay. Now, is there anything else anyone would like to do before we carry on into the evening here?
After we'll probably grab at least something to eat.
Yes. Not just Sable.
Don't eat Sable.
No.
I don't think I could if I
No,
wanted.
not very nourishing.
Can't catch the fucker.
All right.
I told her to
Suffice
go.
it to say, Theo is eating everything that isn't nailed down. So if those who are still hungry, they're losing, they're snoozing. So that's all that's got.
And a rumble.
Oh.
And just as you mentioned that, Howie has a bit of a rumble. Oh no. And he heads to where Theo would be.
Mm.
And says,
Oh, shoot.
Go for it.
Yeah. Hey, he said to Theo. Hey, say something for the others. You might. Who knows? If we need the strength to continue on going.
Well, everything. Well, I got about half of what I put here is in my big
right.
old neck beard here, and Theo does have a large beard that goes right down to his chest. But there may be a good berry here from last week stuck in him. Maybe
All right.
we'll just have to see.
In that case, then
Yeah.
Howie would join alongside Theo and starts feasting. Although, how does one with a beak feast? I'll leave it up to the imagination.
just lots of nibbles.
I hold some in my palm. It's very large.
Theo baby birds you.
There you go.
Okay, so
I'm not chewing it for you, though. I'm not chewing it for you.
I'm not gonna.
I'm not your mother.
Not necessary.
as the festivities continue on and into the night, the four of you leave the proceedings a little early, as you never know what might crop up the next day if a band of adventurers looking for guides may come through. But as you head off tap, you and Caspian are looking at the various tablets in their tent before heading to bed yourself, and you see the various Illuran pictograms and symbols on the tablets, and you, peering through them, try with Caspian's help to make head or tail of them. So, could you roll me an investigation check? Let's see here. Let's have a look. Yeah, if you could roll me an investigation check or a history check, I'd say actually, with advantage because of Caspian's help.
History check.
Okay.
With advantage. How do I do advantage again?
Right click on the +5 there, and then select it and then roll.
No, I'm definitely doing something wrong. Oh. Okay.
Okay. Oh, I thought you got the same as before, but it was the that just came up.
23.
Still a 23. Very, very nice. Okay. So, you and Caspian are pouring through them, and you see various tales in these tablets about how the temples were erected throughout the jungle, and you see that they were created to house these artifacts known as the Heart of Dako to repress the fallout of a magical disaster. And Caspian gasps and looks agape at one of the tablets that he manages to decipher, and he turns to you as you reach the same realization. Oh gracious. This is very bad, Tap. This is very bad.
What do we do?
If I am reading this correctly, if we have deciphered these, then these Hearts of Dako, they are what's keeping the jungle alive. If that is not returned to the pyramid, a vast swath of the jungle around the pyramid will die. We must
return them right away.
But tell you what, you go and talk to your friends. I shall talk to Nadia, the leader of the companions, and entreat her to see reason.
I doubt that she will be the type to do that. We should probably talk to her with my companions present.
No matter. You go and rouse them. I'll chat with her. Don't worry about it. I talked with them quite a deal, and when they delivered these tablets, and I'm sure I'll be able to make them see sense. Don't worry. And you kind of head over to where Marco, Theo, and Bahawi are kind of camped out, and he heads off back in the direction of the pavilion.
My friends, there is an emergency. A very big emergency.
What emergency? Goblin attacks?
There is always an emergency.
They're after my leaky or something?
The artifacts that they have recovered, they are the hearts of the jungle. They need to be returned immediately. Or
well, how will we
the
get this
world
boat
around
ready?
us will collapse.
Let's get... Alright. Well, as Buhawi heard about Heart of Forest, he picks up his boat, gets his companion aside, and tells Tap, alright, let's get onto it. If what you say is true, then I fear my league is going to place her wrath on us, or the entire area, if we don't return this artifact. Buhawi knows very well that you should not mess with the forest, especially with its treasures.
Okay.
Yes. The problem occurs if my read on Nadia is correct. That one's looking for a payday. You mean to take it from her? Oh, welcome, Raiders. Thank you, Albert.
The tent flaps are thrown back, and a giant Albert.
A raid! It's a raid!
Man the cannons!
Welcome in, everybody. I hope you're doing well. We are doing a community one-shot with a fabulous Humblewood adventure, The Heart of Dako. And we are just getting started. We're just kind of getting through the quest being thrown in our adventurers' laps here. So do...
It's Act 1. We're still in Act 1.
Indeed. So get comfy and enjoy.
Just
Oh boy.
It occurs to me, perhaps asking is the wrong way to go about it.
I told him not to go and ask. That she was the type to just.
Well, they are not necessarily. Are they where the Heart of Dako is?
Not at the moment. They're still celebrating in the pavilion.
Then I say we go to where the Heart of Dako is.
I agree with you now. So now,
I am.
Go ahead. What is your plan? What? Obviously, this is what we're going to do. So.
I was proposing that I go and steal it.
Well,
Good plan.
you know,
Good plan.
I agree. You know what? I like this plan. I do indeed. In fact, when you're ready, I can give you a little something else that can make
that would be very helpful.
Yeah. So let me know when you're ready to do it, because
let's go now.
Pass without a trace only lasts an hour. So.
Oh, that should be more than sufficient. I don't think I need more than 5 minutes.
Sufficient.
Are you sure you want to do this? The last thing we need is to get... Because the last thing I want to see is you getting whip marks on your back.
Oh, come now. There's no need to bring that up. We're gonna be fine. I'm sure there won't be.
Yeah, but
besides,
the the last thing we need to have to deal with is being on the receiving end of the companion's wrath. But that being
The
said,
worst case scenario is the jungle is going to collapse. I think a whip isn't going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah,
Gosh, I've been
there
shot.
won't-
I did. I can take
won't
being
be
whipped.
yeah, exactly. There won't be a jungle to be whipping. Everything will die. So
in that
I
case,
have
And we know
then-
the jungle better than they do. We can get there
I-
first.
All right.
Please,
In that case,
everybody huddle around here. I think everybody can use a little bit of this, and I call everybody within 30 feet of me and cast
Yay.
Pass Without a Trace.
Okay, and as you're casting that, the spell takes effect and enshrouds you all in the darkness and shadows of the jungle. Just they seem to seep out of the trees and swirl around you and envelop you in their shadowy disguise. And as you do so, the tent flap opens and Caspian comes in. He looks around. Hello?
Hello.
Ah! Tap! Goodness. I know you're a little bit smaller, but you're crept up on me.
It's okay.
Marco's face appears next to
Have
his
a
head.
plan.
Hello.
Whole gang's here, huh? Splendid. Bad news, I'm afraid, Tap. The leader, Nadia, she just dismissed me outright. She just said it was old superstition and nonsense. To deter
Of course.
treasure thieves.
You should come with us then, please.
Marco
I do not
has
want my
already
friend
gone.
to get hurt.
Marco's gone?
Marco is a rogue.
He's like, well, Marco may return very quickly as you're starting to stealth away from the party. Well, then it comes down to you, my friends, and I am willing to pay you a decent chunk of gold for its safe return to the temple.
Say no more.
Wow, we're getting paid.
Didn't even need to say
too?
that.
This is a plus. This is a win-win situation.
I don't mind
Let us
about
be
my
all.
that's a bonus. I just don't want my leaky spread to go over the Moonshade Isles. Because I know
Look, is
fully
this
well.
an entire party who was prepared to do this altruistically?
Obviously,
Marco, are you
obviously
going to be coming with us?
for this bird.
Caspian says, "Oh, I applaud your. Thank you so much."
Well,
Puts away his pouch. Thank you.
No, Dom is too hasted. We don't get paid all that much being guides and all. We could use the gold.
Oh, don't you
Trust
worry.
me.
Don't you worry. I have a great many projects and investments in this jungle, and I do not want it to be. What was the word? Doom and destruction was the phrases I think I translated. Please,
There's
please.
a lot of things to motivate during a one shot. We're fine. Don't worry about it.
Not breaking the fourth wall.
Don't break the fourth wall.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if you watch Critical Role regularly, but Sam Riegel did a great fourth wall thing recently.
Oh, yeah, that was
Pat
so good.
Caspian and says, "Are you going to be coming with us?"
I am not really cut out for this kind of thing. If you should wish any further details, please, from an academic standpoint, if I may assist.
Oh, Pshaw, I think you're plenty strong enough. But if you insist on staying here, maybe what you can do for us is just make sure that nobody goes and checkins that tent after a while. What is it? About 5 minutes ago? Let's see. Caspian should be back any moment.
So Marco has gone and snuck into the tent with pass without trace on him. I believe his stealth is plus 19.
Wow, he's stealth is plus 19. We're going with the
Spectacular.
Pathfinder levels of.
Spectacular.
I can roll for it if you like,
Tap
just
is
out of
plus
mild
10.
curiosity.
That's good.
Sure.
See,
So all up I
Theo
got
was an-
34.
Nice. Theo, yes?
That's just overkill already.
Theo is on a -1 normally for Dex. Dex is his dump stat. So Pass Without a Trace was a real prime spell to add to that.
Indeed.
By all means. He just sits.
I mean,
Theo
he
just
was-
sits down. It's like,
Are you letting Marco go alone, or are you going together?
So Marco gets his rope and lowers himself down head first from the jungle canopy, cuts a small hole in the roof of the tent with his dagger, and then just lowers himself down, grabs it with his teeth, and then goes back up. Yep.
Okay, so yes, slowly descending from the canopy above, you see the Tila tree wardens, their lizard snouts protruding from the foliage that they bedeck themselves in to camouflage themselves when they're in the jungle. I have a picture of them for you as well. Here they are. Oop.
Oh, they always overdress.
I freaking love the art that comes with it. Like this was a free one shot, and the art is just phenomenal.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The back shot is from the module as well. That's the Temple of Nadar.
Oh, this is all free.
I might be interested in this one shot afterwards for
Definitely.
my own games.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So go over there to Hit Point Press's website and grab that. Now, these Tila Ward, there are 3 of them, and they are placed around the tent at various locations. The 2 corners at the front, and then the center of the back wall. But none of them are on the roof as you slowly descend. This
The thing about Tila is that they just don't look up very often. No one ever looks up.
That big leaf on their head doesn't help either.
Yeah.
The thick brows. They just
The eyes are really good at looking to the sides. They've got like 180-degree vision, but they can't look up.
And you stealthily cut
blind spot.
a flap in the roof and continue through. And there, on a rudimentary kind of knocked together pedestal in the center of the tent, you see the heart of Dako. Now, actually, I think... Just a moment.
Please be a golden idol. Please be a little golden idol. Please be a little golden idol.
I'm assuming a giant ruby.
I'm assuming just
Ruby.
just a stone heart with a bit of jewelry inside.
If it's not a giant ruby, I'm gonna be sad.
It's a giant plastic one with chocolate in it.
Yeah.
Even better. Score.
It's a giant heart of Whitman's.
Here you are. Ta-dum. So there is a large ruby inside, yes. But it has a rather intricate lattice work kind of egg-shaped thing around the outside.
Yeah, I'm definitely holding that with my hand, not my mouth.
Yeah.
I'm putting that in my mouth. Because I was using my hands to climb down the road, so...
Okay, so you kind of
But I'm not gonna...
tuck it in a pouch.
Put that
Tuck it between your legs. Go
My-
ahead.
my fanny pack.
Yes.
Why not carry it with your hooves or with your legs?
I'm not very... I'm a deer, so I would have, I've got a little bit of grip, but no, I think I should probably hold it with my hands. I don't want to mess this up.
All right.
Now, Tap, Theo, and Bahawi, you're kind of like nearby this central tent, but keeping your distance so as not to, endanger Marco's stealthy approach. And Tap, you hear you feel a tap on your shoulder, and you see Caspian's there. He's like, "Nice evening to write a misdeed, isn't it?" And the elderly Illurin smiles as he crouches. "I'm glad you understand that this should never have been removed. They saw something pretty and took what wasn't theirs, just to put it on exhibition. Oh, I mean, really." And he throws his hands up in frustration, and realizing that he was being loud, he swiftly shushes himself. "Oh, I'm sorry. Shh, stealth. And he puts down, crouches down again beside you. "Oh, the danger the companions have put us in. Oh, what are we to do?" And he looks around to see if anyone has spotted the small group of you there. But sure that nobody's watching, he pops upright. Sorry, just a sec. He pops upright. He says, "Well, I think you have things in hand. If you make it out alive, come and find me, and if you learn anything about the temple, be sure to tell me, young Tap. May they..." And he points to a gap in the trees. "May the promising guide lead the way." And he points to a star that's called the promising guide, that's always there in the skies, no matter the season. And it is always a guiding light for guides in the jungle. And if you're ever lost, you always know that you can climb to the top of the canopy, fix your location by the promising guide and find out where you need to go. And he clasps his hand behind his back and saunters away from the group and kind of looks over his shoulder. By the way, in about 15 minutes, you might want to make your exit from the camp. I shall cause a distraction.
Of course, be careful.
It's not my first rodeo.
Happy distracting. I don't know about that star thing. I just ask a clump of crabgrass, and they tell me where to go.
With permission, I hope.
Oh, always with consent. Yes.
I'm
not one to pet crabgrass without consent.
Pat looks up at
Marco
Theo with
appears
mild
next to
confusion.
Theo.
Yes.
Marco just sort of appears next to you, Theo, and says, it's actually a geosynchronous satellite. That's why it always stays in the same place. It's, not many people know that. That's
Pat
why.
takes out her journal and starts writing that down.
I think maybe that's where the Adventure Zone base is.
Yeah. It's tidally locked, you see. Anyway, shall we?
Yeah, let's.
Of course,
I
let's
think
go.
we shall now. We all still now, granted, we all still got a nice little +10 to our stealth rolls. So let's
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Let's get going.
Tap, sorry, I missed what you said just before. What was that?
Well,
About,
said,
was it about the guiding star?
yeah. She takes out her notebook and scribbles it down. Satellite. Right, let us go.
Filling this
Oh,
world
they're
with
already-
bullshit lore.
They're already going down a dark path.
It's okay. It's geosynchronously locked to Humblewood and nowhere else in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start to stealth your way through the encampment, and you pause for a moment as you see Tila tree wardens, parading around and doing their rounds on the exterior of the camp. And you time it carefully and use the magics of Pass Without a Trace to help in your expeditious retreat into the jungle. And as you leave the trees, you hear an almighty sound. And it seems that Caspian has gone over to the pens, where there are a certain number of mounts kept.
Excellent.
There are a large number of kapu, which are the mounts, horse-sized capybara that are used as mounts here in the Tangle Wilds. And yes, I do have a picture.
I mean, John, I would have been very disappointed if you did not have a picture.
Seriously, yes.
Look at
You
him.
can't bring that
Oh my
up.
god, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Kapu.
Oh my God.
I just want to pet it. Oh my god.
But in a separate pen from the kapu, there was a tamed owlbear. And
Oh dear.
Caspian riles it up, and the owlbear goes raiding in to the encampment, and there is a huge just clamor of noise and panic as the guides and the companions of the Blue Flower and everyone just panics as this owlbear just charges into the remnants of the feast and just like it's just tearing into all the food and everything. And you see
Oh dear.
the Tila tree warden that was stood right where you want to leave and in the direction of the Roaring River? Raging River? Sorry, excuse me. names. The river where you were headed to. Yes, exactly. Thank you. And the Red Roar River. There we go. And the Tila tree guardian that was stood there turns and looks concerned and goes running in the direction of the commotion. And you slip through the perimeter and into the jungle.
I'm afraid our academic friend has gone and done something rather rash.
Oh yeah, he does. That was
That
an
is-
owlbear he might have unleashed.
That is a classic distraction, I must say.
Of course.
Brilliant.
We may
course.
have the
Lord.
owlbear in for raiding the channel to blame for that. Okay, so as the commotion goes off in the distance, you start to slip through the trees, glad of the distraction, making your escape that much easier. But even above the din of this distraction, you also hear an alarm bell as it starts to clang, and you know that the theft has been discovered, and there will be a large number of Tila tree wardens and certain companions on your tail.
Oh my.
No turning back. Let's
Clang,
go.
clang,
Let's
clang
go.
went the trolley.
Yeah.
So yes, all of you, especially Theo, going on what they've said so far, cold sweat gathers upon your brows as the tree wardens give chase into the jungle behind you. The dark and vicious embrace of the jungle eagerly welcomes you in, and the urgency lends additional vigor to each step as you run into the trees. Now, is there anything you would like to do or prepare as you are making your flight through the trees towards the Red Roar River?
I have. No, sorry, Revel, you go.
Buhawi would likely go to would try to get himself into stealth,
Okay.
and so that whenever they
I would
so
say
whenever-
because stealth will slow you down because you need to be moving cautiously. I think
all right.
speed is the better option here.
all right, in that case he'll send Agila to scout ahead, see if there's anything they can find to like either hide or
Nice.
to a
Give me
shortcut.
give me a perception check with the bird's perception.
And Marco would say, Theo, you look like you're fairly good at bushwhacking. Can you forge the path?
Oh.
Or are we wanting to endeavor to travel without leaving one?
All right, just give me a moment.
I'll
This is the
prepare-
first time I'm using Tasha's rules, so
No problem.
So I prepared too many spells that are more reactionary and destructive than constructive. But I can, we can talk to a plant and see if there's they can suggest the best route for us.
I
But how
can.
qu-
I have.
Go ahead.
I'm. Marco is telekinetic.
Oh,
Because I is
Oh, well,
my
fine.
favorite feat. So yeah, he basically I'd like to use my telekinetic powers to sort of form a basically like an arrowhead ahead of myself to sort of part the way and therefore ease our passage a little bit.
Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, that's just as you're surging forward, that's just brushing the surroundings out of the way and giving a clear path for you to run through. Okay, how did you go with that perception check, Buhawi?
that you wanted to use
The
use the primal companion, right?
yeah, the companion's
Yeah.
perception. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm still searching on it. Just give me a moment.
I think, if it's in your character sheet, it should be there. Let's see. Beastmaster, Primal Companion, Beast of the Sky. Yeah, if you go to features and traits on D&D Beyond, and then go down to where it says Beast of the Sky in bold. If you click where it says Beast of the Sky, it will bring up the stats on the right-hand side, and it has the stat block. It is a... Perception is wisdom? Perception. Yes, so it's a +2.
ooh, good
Yeah.
job.
21, nice.
Yeah.
It's passive. Its perception's actually +4. I apologize. A tiny beast, a hawk, has
This is
advantage-
a
has
This is
special-
Tasha.
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
special one.
Tasha.
Yeah, it's a Beastmaster companion.
right.
It has a different stat block. Thank you, though.
What a great movie.
So yes, the companion of yours there, Buhawi, goes soaring through the trees. Are they going up above the tree line or through the branches?
Slightly above. Depends on which more visible. But by default, it'll be just above the tree line.
Okay. So from their vantage point up above the tree line, they do see ahead of you a large area which it would be particularly dangerous for you to pass through because there are a number of... Let me just get the name right here. There are a large number of Philiad Stalkers perched in the branches that your companion spots. Now, these are panther-like cats, large cats, and they dangle their tails down with their flower-like decorations on the end of them to lure creatures nearby and hide them amongst natural vines and plant growth, and then pounce from the canopy above. And you see your companion sees several of them in the trees and swoops around and comes back to warn you that they are ahead of you in the trees.
So I would warn the party. Well, we got the company ahead, and he would describe what Aguila would saw.
Oh,
Yes, indeed. Okay, here they are.
Could we stealth our way through them, leading whoever's following us straight to them?
There's two options. Yeah, you could do that, or you can detour around them.
Avoid.
So,
The people behind us might be running forward. Just to run forward, it might be best to go around.
Okay, either's fine. If you go around, it will take a little longer. If you go straight, if you want to stealth through, there's a chance they won't see you.
But there is also a chance that they will all attack us.
Yes.
Well,
It's a valid point. I think one way or the other we'll have to slow down, so let's just go around.
Okay, let's go around.
we still have passed without a trace, so we still have a
There is that.
good.
Yes.
We still have a
I'd say,
buff.
uh,
Are we
this
on?
will be
Because
the
that
very
less
tail
now.
end. Still, but the very tail end of it, if you excuse the Humblewood reference.
No worries.
As you,
I was going to ask that. It's like how long has it been?
Yeah,
I also have pass without trace prepared as well, but though I
Nice.
don't know if I can cast it on everyone else or just only on
Yeah,
me.
it's everyone. It's all creatures within a 30-foot radius.
All right,
Yes.
in that case,
Desired.
should Theo's pass without trace expire, how we would
you cast
cast
instead?
it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So you bring that again.
What-
This again using the jungle's natural stealth. Yep. Marco, sorry.
Cool. Well, if seeing as that's on, shall we go through?
I'm, boy, you know, I would love a nice old Donnybrook right now, but I think perhaps we should stealth around. Maybe then our pursuers will go forward.
Yes. If you
Yeah,
use the
that's
stealth to hide your trail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let us go
Okay.
around.
Sure.
Yep. Sure.
Okay. So everyone, roll me the stealth check. See how well you cover your tracks with the +10.
Oh. 22. I rolled extremely badly.
Same here, 22.
Okay.
How do I add the +10?
And just do it. Just do it.
So just
mentally.
add it, yeah, because I'm gonna add it. So I got a 20.
Okay.
Wow. I rolled a 3. 22.
What are
Brilliant.
we doing again?
So just do a stealth check and then add 10.
Marco is good at like 3 things.
So you have advantage.
Sorry?
Tap has advantage on stealth
Oh,
checks.
right. Oh yes,
So
it's shadowy.
then I add 10 after I roll.
Yes.
Or-
So
Yes.
roll with
Do that
advantage and
automatic.
+10. Yeah. So it should be silly. Shadow Monk.
18 plus 10.
Nice.
So
Okay,
Nice.
so yeah, 28,
Nice.
22, 22, and 20. So yeah, you think you're doing pretty well, and still think through, and you manage to cover up your tracks and make it look like nobody's passed that way, and you do a nice detour around these Philiad Stalkers. Okay. Look at them, they're crazy,
Nice.
aren't they? Like panthers
Good
with
hustle,
bat wings. The tail's beautiful, though. Look at that.
Oh, that's dope.
When we have an opportunity, remind me to try to tame one of those. I think they'd be a marvelous addition to our party.
Can you turn
I'm
into
not
animals?
sure.
I'm not sure everyone else would be happy about it.
I can't quite turn into one of those. I'm sure their CR rating is quite a bit higher than what I'm allowed to do at 5th level.
I'm curious now.
I guess that's a question. Are they more than one half?
They can fly, so
Yes, they are.
Yes.
Yeah, the flying thing doesn't help either.
oh,
Okay.
you're not a moon
I'm
druid. No.
I get quail. That's about as much as I can transform into right now.
Oh, that's delicious.
You, as
You know
you
what?
make your way round and avoid these dangerous beasts lurking ahead of you, you start to hear the rush of water. And as you
Gee.
get closer, you know that the Red Roar River is fast approaching. And what's actually, I can just look at this myself. Okay. Okay. Theo and Buhawi, as you're making your way towards the edge of the ravine, and you see the long rope bridge extending out across the only way to cross the ravine here. You, Theo and Buhawi, stop everyone in their tracks and have them hold up, because
Hold up.
as you enter the open area, as you emerge from the trees and see the bridge ahead of you, Marco and Tap, you're kind of like eyes on the bridge, just like, okay, let's go, come on. But Theo and Bahawi are like, stop. And they point down at the ground. And Theo and Bahawi, you can see a few bulges in the ground. Now, you know that those bulges are the top of a few tangle wasp nests, which are lurking beneath the ground, hardened soil with a kind of resin-like exterior, that when the vibration of someone stepping on top occurs, you know that a swarm of tangle wasps will boil up out of the ground to attack.
Well, shit.
But no,
We
having
must
seen
walk without rhythm.
I mean, having seen them, they are avoidable. Yeah. But let's look at these nasty little things.
So we got to avoid these, but we got to get to that bridge too.
What if Bowie brings us across the bridge? Flying us across?
I'm not sure if it's possible to carry one.
I'm afraid not.
all of
No,
you.
no,
Probably,
it needs to be a size larger.
Yeah.
Oh, I am
Definitely
pretty
not
small.
Theo.
Actually, yes, Tap. You can carry Tap. But Marco and Theo are on their own.
I might
Well,
do that if it's.
I
if
could
that's
fly. I could easily just turn into a sparrow and fly over, but I can't carry anyone with that. I guess DM,
Well,
would I know of any given
I am very dainty of foot, used to climbing in the rigging of ships. But if you can fly, and Tap, you could catch a ride on Buawi, then I'll just I can nimble my way across, and then we go. We're good.
No, actually, I'm sorry. It appears as I cannot turn into anything flying just yet.
Well.
Can you turn yourself into something very small?
Oh, yes, I can turn into a mouse if I want to. I can turn into a. I can.
Well, then,
I can
if you
wild
could
shape
turn into a
any-
mouse, then Bahawi's falcon could carry you.
It's true.
That's true. That's
All right
true.
then, and then
You're
Nagila
like,
would.
don't eat him.
Otherwise,
I
he'll
know.
turn back into Theo.
Yeah, that's just it. All you have to do, I will instantly turn back into Theo, and your companion will be.
then you
God,
plummet to
that's
death.
indigestion. Indigestion you do not want.
Don't worry.
West.
Don't
The
worry.
West.
He won't. I'm sure he won't do that. The only thing he would eat
Imagine the
are
startled
rats.
look on the
And there's a
bird's
difference between
face
mouse
just
and rats.
explodes.
That's an interesting way of defeating an enemy that I cannot say that I tried once. 2
Yeah,
seconds.
but the amount of
Few years
crushing
ago.
damage I would make you take.
Yeah.
It is. That was a compromise, dude.
Things are heating up. It's getting heated up in here as well. Right. Okay. So I think yes,
right.
Tap Buhawi lifts you up and over the wasp nests.
Yeah.
Bahawi's companion grabs
Agila.
the shaped Theo. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I will wild shape into a small creature like a
Nice.
like a little mouse.
Okay. Can I just? I want to stop for a second. I want to say thank you very much. Everyone is using all of their abilities and various things very nicely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so good. So good.
Yeah.
Nearly everything on your character sheet has come to play already. It's so good.
And I will twinkle toes my way across.
Give me a dexterity check, please. Well, acrobatics.
Dex,
Actually,
Just
wait,
acrobatics.
wait, before after Agila brings over Theo, brings our mouse friend, he would go to Theo and, or rather, Marco, and then would rest on his perch, considering it as a help action.
I think
Oh.
he's too big. Too big. Yeah,
Alright.
but he's okay. He's a very dexterous chap.
I am a
Alright.
very dexterous Tap. I'm rolling not particularly well. Straight dex or acrobatics?
Acrobatics.
17.
Terrible. Oof. Oh dear. So
An 8
as
plus
Marco,
9.
for some reason, like just beautifully dances through the wasp's nest, but for some reason still looks disappointed with himself.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
gets to
I'm
the
normally
bridge.
better. Should we cut the rope bridge?
From this side, no. Definitely not.
I don't know if that's a good idea, since you need to go back through that same way as well. Once we're done with returning to Heart of Dako.
It is the only way across. You do know that, yes. Now, as you
I mean, I
arrive
can
here,
swim.
but, now, this section is called Don't Look Down. The rope bridge ahead gently sways in the wind as the Red Roar's white rapids foam far below. For the first time, the Temple of Nabar comes into view, as we can see on our overlay here, on our in Roll20, with its stone zenith peeking out from the jungle canopy on the far side of the ravine. Now, as you start to make your way across the bridge, it does hold your weight just fine, although swaying and creaking in the wind that's roaring up the valley. And as you reach about the halfway point of the bridge, suddenly you hear the crash of foliage behind you as a graceful white-furred moon Alurin, Nadia, astride a riding kapu, appears. Nadia snarls. Where do you think you're going with that?
Wait for me!
And 3 more kapu gallop out of the tree line and quickly stop behind the leader with the other members of the companions astride, as various Forest Warden Telia also emerge from the tree line and start making their way onto the bridge. Let me just see how many.
Didn't they stomp over the bees? The wasps?
Well, yeah, I'm going to get to that in just a moment, definitely. Don't worry. Yes,
Let the DM do the DM stuff.
5 of the
just
Telia.
as a note,
5 of the Telia.
Theo has not.
Yes. Sorry, please.
Theo has not turned back. Theo is still a mouse. Just
Noted. Yeah, in the companion's clause there. The Telia, Nadia says, "Get them!" And the Telia surge forward, eyes on you and not on the ground, and they step on the nests of the tangle wasps, and with an angry buzzing sound, the tangle wasps boil up out of the ground, and the kapu mounts rear back and snort. They're clearly just looking for a hot spring to go and sit in and look cute in. And they rear back and almost throw the companions back into the jungle onto the ground, and they're quite disturbed. And it looks like the companions, at least, are going to have some trouble tying up the various mounts of theirs to find somewhere, because they're too big to go onto the bridge. Now, the Tila tree wardens of the I said there was 5 that were coming for you. 3 of them are just like flailing over their heads, trying to bat away these tangle wasps as they're caught by that. 2 of them draw their weapons and come onto the bridge after you. What do you do?
Keep going, guys.
How far are we to the end of the bridge?
About 40 feet.
Okay.
As the tree wardens, by the way, as the tree wardens pile onto the bridge, it begins to waver and shake, precariously swaying to and fro with every step you take. Your hands can feel the tug and tear of the ropes as they snap beneath the unwelcome weight. I need Marco, Tap, and Bahawi to make a dexterity saving throw, please. Oh, no, sorry, acrobatics. My bad, sorry.
26.
Nice.
Wow.
19.
15.
No, sorry, 28 then. Sorry, 28.
Yeah, 28, yeah.
Oh yeah, 25.
Nice. Tap.
22.
Wow.
Yes,
you min-maxers over here. Look at you all.
I think all of you have done this training before. You set up a rope bridge in camp. You're like, okay, these things can sway nastily. Everyone get your balance.
That or our time as guides trained us all.
It's not our first rodeo.
Okay, now as...
Written through harder storms than this. I once fought a wake worm.
Where are the... Tilo, there we go. Acrobatics. Okay, +2.
Remember the purple worm we fought?
Wow. The Tila tree wardens are also very proficient, apparently. They get a dirty 20 and an 18. So yes, all of you are just riding this swaying bridge as Theo,
Can I
you look
use my
down from the
telekinesis
claws.
to give one of them disadvantage?
Certainly,
Try
yeah.
and push him off.
Well, it has an ability, right? What's the ability there?
It's telekinetic shove.
Yeah. So
Quit shoving.
Off
it's
the bridge.
There's a strength save, a DC 13 strength save, or be moved 5 feet to the left.
Oh dear. Okay, what's the tree warden's strength is +1.
I mean, it's like you knew this. It's like you knew you were needing this.
12 + 1 is a 13. So one of the wardens, they both smile and they dash out, their tongues dash out as they see you. No, you said it was 14, didn't you?
13, unfortunately.
Okay. And one of them kind of like jerks to the side, but their friend like catches him like forearm to forearm, and like they're hanging desperately off the side of the bridge, but they pull them back on, and they keep advancing towards you with their scimitars drawn. Actually, one of them, in revenge for that, Marco, one of them is going to shoot at you with their crossbow. It's a 16. Does a 16 hit?
It does.
Heavy crossbow thwangs, and the bolt thuds into your shoulder for that's 7 damage.
7 damage. Ow.
Okay, and you keep running.
Fair, I suppose, but still.
Okay, what do you do?
I do still keep running.
Mm-hmm.
I draw my rapier.
Okay.
And I cut the rope.
Indeed.
Are we not at the end of it yet?
Oh boy.
I mean, I wait for everybody else to get off the bridge.
Yes, of course.
all of my allies to get off the bridge, and then I'm like, no, I do not want to be followed. I don't want to be rushed while I'm dealing with traps.
Okay, it's
also,
an automatic.
considering that Theo and Tap are being carried, is it safe to say that they're at the end of the?
Yes, they're fine. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
In that case, Howie would likely to fly out and try to rescue Marco.
Well, I think Marco's reached the other end as well.
No,
so
Marco's gotten to the end of the rope.
Yeah, if you want to help
I'm
him,
off the bridge.
If you want to help him cutting the bridge, then that's fine.
Yeah, he would do
In fact,
he would do that as well with his talents.
What Marco would do would get to it and then look at the Tila tree wardens and say, "Go back, or you fall."
And then Nadia's at the other end of the bridge. Yes, tree wardens, go back. I am here waiting. And she cracks the whip towards them. And they look at each other and start running towards you, Marco.
Marco cuts the rope, and I'm like, "Sorry, boys."
Roll damage. Just you hit automatically. Just roll damage. And Bahawi, you too.
Where's Smith? There we are. It's quite a bit.
Good.
Do I get sneak attack on a rope?
No.
In fairness, the
one
rope
damage.
does not know that this is coming.
1 damage.
11.
11. Okay. Let me quote the one shot here. If at any time the rope bridge takes 5 or more damage. Okay. So yes, you both. The talons snap through one side. The what are you using, Marco?
His rapier.
Okay, the rapier slashes through the other side, and you leap to safety as the bridge ponderously swings and disappears towards the far side. Now, the tree wardens do get a saving throw.
They can hold on.
Yeah,
and
right.
then just swing down.
One of them got a 17, the other got a 5. So one of them holds onto the rungs of the bridge and starts climbing up it like a ladder. The other one disappears, spiraling end over end, and splashes into the Red Roar River below. And you kind of, Marco, peer over concernedly, and you see them looking up out of the water and shaking their fist at you as they get swept downstream.
No hard feelings. I hope you know how to swim. And then we go.
By the way, if you had been unlucky with your rolls and ended up in the river as well, I love this little thing that it puts in the one shot here. If you fall, you take the damage from the fall, but it's not so much as it would be because of the water. And then you are washed ashore downstream. The players end up on the temple side of the river, the tree wardens on the other. So, lucky.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
Wow,
tree
what a nice
wardens,
little
looks
mechanic.
like you're on the wrong side of the river.
And a few more heavy crossbow bolts just whistle into the trees around you. You just like duck up and duck. Yes, Tap.
Run!
Theo drops wall shape.
So all of us are on the other side, and the ropes were cut. So all of the so Nadia's on the other side. She's not even on the.
Yes, she turns around and spits at the other companions and the remaining tree wardens as they've managed to escape from the wasps. And she's like, "We must go around quickly. Find a way." and they start to move along the top of the ravine. And you disappear into the trees.
Would it safe to say that Theo's pass without trace expires at this point?
It will do during this section, yeah. Well, Theo's has expired. We were into yours, Bahoe, already.
All right.
Can Tap do medicine on Marco?
Oh.
If you'd like. I mean,
welcome
just medicine check would only stabilize him if he was unconscious.
It wouldn't really cure me.
You need magical healing of some kind.
I mean, if our druid friend could make me some good berries at some point, that would be very appreciated. But I'm all right. And he just pulls the crossbow bolt out of his shoulder and goes, less so now. That was stupid.
Okay.
Did you say good berries? I'll give you good berries, and Buhawi would cast good berry.
Nice.
Oh, thank you.
What form do your good berries take, Bahoe?
Let's kick this up, and instead of just normal berries, it'll be the size of chili peppers.
Nice.
Oh.
Good peppers.
I eat 7 of them. Those are great peppers.
Don't touch your eyes for a while, okay?
Yeah. Wash your hands before you pee. Yeah.
There's a squawk from your companion, Bahoe, as Theo turns back into this large fur bulk and drags the bird to the ground.
Well, that was refreshing. Well
You can
done.
see my house.
I can see everyone's bald spots from up here. Anyway,
Hey!
I'm
So,
just
yes.
telling it like it is.
That's why I wear a hat.
Lucky you all have something to wear. Me, my head size won't let me wear anything. Anyway, we should get going.
Indeed. Okay, so yes, you push hurriedly through the trees and come into the open space that is the remains of the temple complex in front of the main structure, as you can see on our image there. Peeking through the treetops, the octahedron construction that sits atop the Temple of Nabar's pyramid sparkles in the early morning sun as you've traveled through the evening here to reach your destination. Beneath the low-hanging branches and lush greenery, the jungle gives way to the temple's entrance. The arched silver stone entrance is decorated with chipped, worn carvings. Inside, as you enter into the cool darkness, the temple is eerily silent, as if waiting for someone to step across the threshold to wake it from its slumber. So,
No one step across that threshold.
All right. Is it safe to say that nearly everyone doesn't have dark vision?
I have dark vision.
I don't.
All right. In that case, Buhawi would line up a torch for Theo and then for himself.
that seems like a way to go, definitely, because as you step inside, the interior of the temple swallows all light. The smell of dust and clay fills the air. Like an omen, a sudden gust of wind blows from within, and a series of sconces mounted on the walls begin to glow with a dim red light.
Can I do a
well, that's
perception
convenient.
check?
Oh, that's not creepy at all.
Say again, Tap. A what check?
Can I do
Perception.
a perception check, please?
Please.
Buhawi
if
would
you
help
see-
Tap. Buhawi would help out Tap with the perception check.
Okay, I'd say both roll and see how you go.
Howie.
You go to
Nice.
22.
22.
Hey, okay. So yes, listening intently, there is a slight, almost like pop sound as these sconces start to glow, but nothing else from within the temple. In front of you, as you enter into the space through the entrance, there is a mosaic on the wall illustrating Illurans in ceremonial robes, reaching for a large crimson stone, very similar to that you carry with you. Let's see here, which is embedded in the center of the artwork. Triangular rays of red light radiating from the stone beam down on you. On the left, a barrier of collapsed rubble blocks an ascending ramp. Another ramp to the right of the ancient composition slopes down deeper into the temple, and I shall bring you over to the map.
Oh shit!
It's the map. It's the map.
And it is dynamically lit, so tell me if you can see okay.
Dope.
You should be okay.
Oh well, that's a lot of.
Ooh,
Yeah, marvelous.
I see one corridor.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
Cool.
Oh, I didn't.
Sounds great.
I need to add it so stream can see. It's like, why is if you've all got sight, why is it okay? Why isn't it showing up? But it's because I didn't add it to my particular thing here. Here we go. Sorry, folks, bear with me.
No,
Oh, dear me.
while that's happening,
Yes,
could
please,
someone
please.
tell me how to get rid of the player characters' big images in
And they're
Roll20 and make them
Yeah,
small
just
again?
there should be just some little close crosses on the top right.
No, I don't have.
No,
them.
so go to your settings in the top right, and then you want
Yes.
to go
that.
to audio and video.
Yes.
Yes.
You want video display, and it's
Mhm.
player video
Thank-
avatar size
thank
names
you.
only is the best.
Thank you very, very much. I forgot that. I don't play Roll20 an awful lot.
No, that's all. That's all. Yeah, that's right. I see what you mean.
That's
Now.
all right.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I don't really play Roll20. I tend to do theater of mind.
Mm-hmm. I do
Well,
enjoy
I
we
the
can
used to
style.
roll
describe it.
20
We
a
can
lot.
describe it to you then. So just,
I
you
used to
talking
roll
through?
20 a lot, but we've switched to theater of the mind quite a lot more.
Yep.
Show. Oh, it's a long, narrow corridor.
So yeah, 2 seconds. There we go. I'm just
No
giving
worries.
stream sight of what you can see.
Mm.
And this one and this one. Nope, not you.
Ooh, I can move.
Yep.
That's pleasant.
Yeah, if you
That feels good.
The squares are all 5 feet. And it will snap to the squares. So there's the collapsed to your left, and then it goes down to the right there.
Mhm.
Well, they describe several traps. Very standardized traps. I don't know what standard would mean, but sort of one would assume, arrows in the walls, spring-loaded things, but it all reset when they left. So everything's live, or not, as the case may be.
Understood. Can you check for them there traps like you did a few weeks ago back there on that other job we did that
I mean, I can
Talk
certainly
about
look
it
for
all
traps.
I can also use my
so-
bow and arrow to trigger traps from a distance.
Nice.
Would that
Oh,
be
I
right?
can just push it with mage hand, but yeah.
So,
Uh,
are you
I,
going to
fact,
use thorn.
check-
I use the cantrip thorn whip to just whack something down there about 60 feet to see if anything triggers.
Yep.
Yeah, but sometimes your mage hand didn't work on some of the pressure or lever based traps.
Some of them do
Yeah.
need something a bit heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
quite a bit more power.
So, if could you, let's see. So yeah, Marco, give me a perception or investigation check.
Very well.
May I assist in some way?
Indeed, yes, yeah.
Probably be for the best if you just do it yourself.
Very well. Very well. I will. Do a
Speaking as someone who,
perception. I will perceive. I perceived terribly.
also 7.
7.
Okay.
Still
Yep, the corridor
seven.
looks fine.
Yep, sounds great.
Dice have a
Looks
story.
perfectly
The dice
safe,
have a
boys.
story. It does. It looks fine.
And
well,
girls, I apologize, and girls.
Yes.
It looks perfectly safe.
Gentle people.
Much later,
Tap glances
you should have
around
been harder.
Yes, Tap.
before Tap glances around before looking back at everyone and goes, I feel like this is going to end one of 2 ways. We're able to get the heart back, but they come and steal it again, or they come and we have this final showdown
Last
with
stand.
them, which I do not believe would be much to our advantage if we do not take these traps down.
I
So you're
think
saying
we need
that
to put it back first, though.
Yeah. So, but what you're saying is, once we place back the heart of Dako, we need to shut it off for good, so that no one else tries to claim it.
We need to make sure that no one else would be able to find this place again.
I
Yes.
can.
Okay.
Well, once we've completed this, I can
Yeah.
go and talk to the forest, and I can tell them to, especially wrap this place up in something a little bit more protective than just a couple of twigs.
I would also send a prayer to my Leaky to help to guard this place from any thieves.
Noted.
Because
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. That sounds like after.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
For now,
we
let's
all
go
done.
to the
Let's go
center.
home.
Let's go to the center of the labyrinth before we protect the labyrinth itself, shall we?
Marco, can you move to the right? Is it okay?
I can move to the right if you'd like.
I just want to make sure it wasn't the thing wasn't blocking you.
No, I can.
Okay,
I'm
good.
just gonna
Okay.
walk down this corridor and get shot
Okay.
by a trap.
No, as Marco moves down the hall, nothing happens, and it curls around to the left.
He would say to Tap, however, you were the one who deciphered the symbols and the warnings about what the heart is. Do you recall anything about any descriptions of where of the difficulties we might face in here?
There was no warning. No.
There was no warning. It only talked
Yeah.
about how important it was to the forest, and without it, the forest would die.
It does beg the question, sort of why build this in such a way that I was like, well, no, what we'll do is we'll put loads of traps rather than just hide it and make it completely impenetrable, right? Like,
Well,
why not just shield it away?
In fairness, Marco, the companions of the Blue Rose are the first adventurers to ever make it through the traps. Many have tried,
Sure.
so it was well protected.
Okay. All right.
Can Tap talk to Sable and say, "Don't go over and look for the traps," since it does the opposite of what I say.
Oh, here.
For now, it
Here's,
is, yes.
I found a room, fellows.
You hear Marco's voice echoing from the
I've gone around
shadows.
the corner.
Tap follows Marcos.
It's lovely. It would seem to have at least 3 plinths.
how we would
So-
follow this?
Yeah, you start going down the corridor there.
There we
Okay.
go.
Who's next? Who's behind Tap, by the way? Stop there for a second, Marco.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Theo.
we'll do kind of a bit of a marching order
Yeah.
here. I believe
Theo,
I will take.
as you start going down the corridor behind Tap, every time they pass one of those braziers and their shadow gets cast on the ground, it kind of gestures desperately at you as if it's trying to escape from Tap.
Oh, everybody! I think I need to do something here that I've been holding on to, been saving for quite some time. I think it'll be perfect for this kind of situation. And Theo will fumble around. Just give me a moment and fumble around into their belongings and pull out a yellow diamond.
Okay.
And say, I think this will be a good method. It's not quite a sacrifice, but it'll be good for what we're doing now. So DM, we're going to need another token on the field
Please.
because the yellow diamond will Theo will crush it, and an earth elemental will
jeez.
pop into existence.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
That was your one rare
And,
magic item, was it?
Tis. Oh,
Yeah,
it's uncommon. It's an uncommon magic item, to be honest.
Tap
know, it's strange.
gently grabs Marcos's legs from the fright of seeing the
Oh.
giant golem.
It is.
No, it's-
don't worry. It is very gentle. It is under my complete control. Trust me.
Okay, sure, won't turn on us once you get shot or something.
Well, it is same as a conjure elemental spell. So that would be a call forth an elemental servant, choose an area, 10-foot cube, blah 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 blah. The elemental
Hello.
is friendly to you or your companions for the duration.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Roll
Great.
initiative, obeys your verbal commands. Okay.
Oh,
There you
wow.
go.
If
Well,
you,
that's
but if you
useful.
break your concentration, then it's just there. It
Oh
may-
boy,
Now,
let's
yeah,
not get
it may-
let's not get yourself
Theo?
shot.
Theo, can you just check that you've got control? So select it,
Ooh,
try
look
and
at that.
move it.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Okay, so
please, as you
move forward.
so yeah, you stepped there. Okay, and as just a moment there, Theo, as you
Right.
As you enter into that room, let me show you let you know what you can see. I've shown you. So across from the room's entrance, there is a corridor leading off across the far side of that slightly lower area, which is, as you can see, spattered in kind of rust
Blood.
brown, dried stains of something or other.
Raspberry
Berry
jam,
juice.
yes,
Yeah.
tangleberry juice
Yeah.
all over the place. And
I believe.
and as you step into the space there, Dungeon Glitch, thank you for that gifted sub. Thank you, my friend. So if Tap and Marco could step one more step forward. Just
It's a trap.
there we go. As you step out of the corridor into that raised area, see the full extent of everything that is on display here. You see alcoves, and each of them holds a mostly intact Illuran statue depicting several things. There's a vortex-type swirl, a mountain, a flame, and a wave depicted in each of these statues. And in front of you, as you can see arrayed there are 4 pedestals. Okay? And each of the pedestals is made of a different material. The top one is opal, the next is slate, and down the bottom, the first one there is obsidian, and then the pinkish one is made of coral.
Can Tap take out her journal and quick sketch of this?
Absolutely.
Gosh.
And while you're doing that, Theo, could you please make me a dexterity saving throw for your earth elemental?
Oh dear.
Okay, I'll have to pull up an Earth Elemental from D&D Beyond because
No,
I
let me
forgot
give
to
you
do that.
let me give you another nice bit of Roll20 advice. Select the earth elemental token, hold shift and double click.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And if you select
right.
the character sheet tab, it will give you, and that's all clickable, so it will come up in chat. So if you click on the where it says Dex -1,
Yes. All right.
3. Okay, so as the earth elemental lumbers forward down the steps into that space below, there is a shik as spikes erupt from the floor, piercing its form, although it is resistant to the damage because it is piercing damage. So it takes half of, let's see, what would that be? 12, 24 half to 12.
Oh,
As these
Just but a
spikes
flesh wound.
just come sticking up through the creature, and it kind of like
Like
stops impaled on them until they reduce into the floor again.
That is exactly what I was imagining when I said sort of standardized traps. That's,
And it turns around with an accusing look at you, Theo.
oh,
Oh boy. Oh
Oh,
no.
you knew the job was dangerous when you took it.
things in this room don't react too well to white.
So, what would you like to do?
Well, we need to figure out what statue goes on which plinth would be the logical inference here.
I believe you're probably correct.
Yeah.
Let's see. Would this would be would there be any kind of history or arcana check to be made for this, Mr. DM, or
Not
is this
really,
more
just-
of a
I mean, just
play
looking-
as to
Just
figure
common
out?
sense, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So
Coral would be water.
Yeah. Whilst
I would agree with that. I would coral
whilst
would be with water.
obsidian would be fire.
Okay, so
Yes.
Marco, you go and grab the wave statue, and Buhawi,
Yeah.
you grab the flame statue. Okay, so
Yep.
Marco, where do you put that?
I put it on the coral one.
Okay, as you approach the coral plinth, it almost magnetically clinks into the top of that
Oh, there you go.
indentation there.
That's
And
nice.
One for one.
Buhawi, your flame, where do you put the flame?
Yeah. I'm on the obsidian.
Okay, again, into the top.
Volcanic glass. Smart.
Yes.
So what were the other two?
Yeah, one of the most popular tourist destinations here in the Tangle Wilds is some of the basalt, obsidian glass structures that have formed around some of the active volcanoes here.
What was the other two plinths?
The other two are slate and opal.
Oh,
Buhawi would would try to recall if there's anything significant between opal and with opal, since the problem is how to determine if it's opal is earth or wind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say opal would be wind, but the slate is a rock.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You
So-
sure?
Whereas opal is a gem. Well, it's a semi-precious gem.
Yeah, slate is what are they called? Yeah, the ones that are formed by pressure.
Sedimentary rock.
Sediment, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, Tap.
I studied
takes
some
the-
geology.
Tap
My father would disown me. He was a
slate
geology
and
teacher.
Puts it on the earth pedestal.
Which one? Sorry, Tap.
Tap takes the slate and puts it on the earth pedestal.
Okay.
Well,
yeah,
the earth one puts it on the slate pedestal.
So yeah, you pick up the mountain like statue and go towards the slate pedestal and onto the top.
Hey,
Hey, look at that.
nice.
And last but not least, Theo, would you like to grab the wave? Sorry, no, the swirl of swirl
I
of
would
air.
I would like the earth elemental to do that for me. I'm not
Okay.
touching anything in this place.
It clambers back up onto the plinth and kind of rather aggressively shoulders past you. It grabs the swirl of air and goes towards the opal pedestal, and lo and behold, into the top it goes.
I mean, I never said the thing had manners. But
And yes, as it
Let's just protect you from getting shot.
order the creature out into the space again,
Yes.
nothing happens.
I was going to say, it was like Marco would actually precede the elemental.
Okay, nothing
Because he
happens.
feels sorry for it. And he also wants to check out how fresh the blood splatter is.
Give me a medicine check.
Before you roll, Bahawi would help out Marco with that, since he's curious on how old the blood is as well.
Okay.
Cool. 17.
Nice. It looks about 3 days old,
Hey.
and some of it much older.
Yeah. But some of it's fresh.
Would it
Some
be
of
Like,
it's
oh.
fresh, yes.
Would it be safe to say this is the blood from the companions when they
You
made the
would-
first adventure?
The time frame seems to add up. Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Okay, so you want to make your way across the room. You are safe to do so, it seems. By the
Yeah.
way, congratulations on getting the right order there. They kind of almost magnetically into it, whichever one you put it in. So I was hoping you were going to make a mistake and say, "Oh, this must be the right one."
Let's just hold it against it and see what sticks. Yeah, right.
Yes,
Yeah.
they all did it on all of them. Okay.
When you
Curses.
mentioned about elementals, I was like, yeah, this is a bit of a clock. This is a bit like clockwork. So
Okay, so yeah, you managed to make your way across the room and into the corridor on the far side. Please do so.
Yeah.
Theo, don't worry about the elemental. I'll catch them up for you.
okay, very well.
He
Thank
sort
you,
of
Bill.
squeezes himself down.
Yeah, it moves around and curls around the top of the room. And yeah, Marco, as you make your way along that side there,
I don't like narrow corridors when there are spring-loaded traps.
there's
I'm not seeing any blood
scrape-
splatter, so it's
There's
probably
a scrape
fine.
of stone on stone as the earth elemental squeezes through the narrow corridor at the top there. Now, Marco, as you and the others arrive at
I'll
that
press the call lift
northernmost part, exactly, yes, you discover. How does it describe it? Hang on, let me find.
Is this an Otis?
As you go around, you do discover this stone platform there, and
My man.
as you all move onto the surface there, and the it's a very, very, very tight squeeze as the earth elemental squeezes in as well.
Pardon me. Yeah.
we might use the earth elemental to seal the
Hey, Tankers.
temple once we're done.
Well, I'm gonna call him Rocky for a while. Come on, Rocky, get up here.
What about Rocco?
I was gonna say, yeah.
You know, I never liked his modern life, so I'm not gonna go there.
I prefer Einstein.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of syllables there.
That's true. That's true. But it
as-
means
That's
stone
just,
stone.
Yes.
As you step onto the plate, it starts to move, descending into the depths below, and you are transported. Do you want to move up on there so I can get your earth elemental in there, Theo?
Yeah.
Rawr.
Yep. Try over there. Trying. It doesn't like
Just do your own token. I'll do the elemental. It's okay.
Oh, Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, now I can't grab me now. There we go, and there we go. it's a tight fit.
There we go. Okay, thank
They're
you all.
sitting on the elemental's shoulders.
Yeah, Tap climbs up on the elemental, lightly
We're
pats him.
standing on the shoulders of elementals.
All right, and let me bring you over. And you, as the platform descends into the depths, you find yourselves confronted with another chamber. Ta-da!
Oh, good.
Wow.
Now, as
Ah.
the platform comes to a halt, you observe this second chamber here. The stone slab ferrying you from the first landing to the second transports you to this 40 by 40 foot room. The walls and floor are made of smooth stone, except for a jeweled map carved into the floor. The exit opposite the entrance leads to another slab, which looks like it will descend similar to the first one. The map in the center, as you can see, contains those 4 large gems, which are glowing. Let me see here. There are 2 which are red. 1 is blue, and then the one on the left side is almost dark, but is flickering with a red light occasionally.
Oh. And the map is... Would I recognize it? I have
Please make me a
proficiency with navigation tools as
Nice.
well.
Give me a survival check with advantage.
Oh, pair of dog shit. 10.
Can Tap also do that?
Please.
So, am I rolling survival or?
Yes, survival, please.
Because
Yeah.
Josh recognizes this map, but I'm not sure Vilnius does.
What?
Nice.
Hey!
Okay, so
Great.
as you look at the map, Tap, you recognize that it is a map of the surrounding area, and the dark crystal that's flickering slightly is the current location. It is the Temple of Nabar. And Tap, with your passive history, and Theo, you too, you recognize that the other crystals represent the positions of other temples throughout the Tangle Wilds. That
Well,
you
this
have...
is why they said plural hearts in the rest of it. Oh my. Oh my.
Well, we have our proof that everything is connected and that this indeed has some kind of magical persistence here. But, okay. Well, can somebody just, can we just tuck our heads out there and look and see if we can find any traps before I send Rocky into the area?
Okay.
No,
give
that's
me
fair. Here's a
perception or
question.
investigation?
Why is one of them blue?
That's a good question.
Well,
Because we know why one of them's flickering. But why is one of them blue?
I'll do. Oh, look at that! I got a natural 20 for 23 on my perception.
Fantastic. The floor does not seem to contain any pressure plates or anything that you can spy.
I look up.
Okay.
The
Would you
ceiling
also
is
like to
full of
give me a
spikes.
perception check?
Sure. 19.
19. Okay. There is a glistening mucus-like substance
Oh, no.
in the various fissures of the ceiling.
Oh boy.
Okay.
can Tap throw one of her darts across the room to see if the substance tries to go after it?
A dart?
A dart.
Please.
How high is the ceiling?
It would be... it doesn't say. Let's go 20 feet.
Okay. Great.
High as the sky.
So, yeah, Tap, you cast one of your darts across the room, and there's no reaction.
I would like to, with my mage hand, reach
Yes.
out and sort of grab a little, like touch it, just poke it.
It undulates like a slowly rippling water, like if you tapped a surface of water.
Hmm. I obviously draw everybody else's attention to it if I haven't already.
Okay. And let me. I'll ping where you can see them. There's one. There are two spots of it. There's one here. And as you kind of peer around and look over the whole thing, there's one in the corner back here as well.
Oh, good.
On the ceiling.
Yeah, no one ever looks up, guys. Just remember.
Don't fall into the Tila Street Warden's trap.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't want to not do it.
What would you like to do?
I made this joke earlier.
I know, right? Hoisted on your own petard.
Shall we just go out and walk like not underneath those drippy things?
I get out my umbrella.
I'm going to sing "Singing in the Rain."
No. All right. So
I just realized that I also have mage hand.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I have a living child.
Here's a question.
Yes.
Is Pass Without Trace still on?
Not at this point.
No.
No. Okay.
No, you travelled through the nights to get here.
Right. Okay. No worries.
I mean, I could cast it again.
I mean, I think it's I poked it. I'm gonna now try and shall I try and scoop a bit off to see what it is? And I'm asking the group here.
You
Yes.
could. But how do we just place his torch onto to have this companion holding it whilst he takes out his bow and arrow, just in case.
Yeah. All right. I try and scoop out a bit of this stuff with my mage hand.
Okay, so you go up towards it. It doesn't seem to come away.
That's okay.
It shifts and moves shape, but it doesn't. It's not. It's not scoopable.
Fair enough. In which case, I say,
let's just we see them. We know where they are. Let's just not walk underneath them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you, DM? I apologize. Could you click again where they are?
Neither of them are in the middle of the room, so we can just walk straight through.
Okay,
top right corner in the middle of the left wall.
I send Rocky out.
Okay. So yeah, he goes tramping forwards, and nothing right there.
Mm-hmm.
And as he gets onto the map, you see him stomp down, and the kind of vibrations or something must be the trigger here, and a similar ooze comes up through the cracks of the map, up around his feet, and let's see here. Sorry.
Maybe you are resistant to oozes.
I don't think it has resistance to this one.
Resistant to poisoning and paralyzation. So.
Yeah, this is acid, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Hey, look, you can't be resistant to everything.
As good as, I know.
He takes poor old Rocky takes 4 acid damage.
Oh,
no. Starts to dissolve.
4 acid damage. Rocky, stay careful what you step in. No, clean that off, right?
Just turns to look at you again. And as poor Rocky is subjected to this, another similar looking thing rises up from the map, and the 2 that were on the ceiling slip down to the floor, and they seem to have some form of telepathy, as in your minds you all become very, very aware of the fact that they are hungry. You just hear this, and you get a strong sense of hunger and regret.
They feel regret?
So,
because they ate rock?
It's my homecoming. It's my senior prom all over again.
Hunger and regret.
I need some initiative, please, my friends.
Yes, you
do.
I bet you do.
Okay, now roll it on D&D Beyond, and then or however you wish to do so, and then you can type it in yourself on the turn order here. There are your tokens added in, I believe.
What are we rolling?
Initiative.
Yeah, but which dice?
Oh, if you
If you just click on D&D Beyond, it'll do it.
Yeah, then the
23.
space that says initiative in D&D Beyond.
I
Just
don't see it anymore. Oh, there it
it's
is.
in the. We'll just go ahead and roll a D20.
Why can't I add you?
That's weird.
Can you add yourselves? If you right-click on your token, and can you add turn?
My initiative's already added into roll 20.
My character doesn't actually have any.
No, yeah, there's no roll 20 character sheet. Okay, we'll just do this pen and paper. Everyone, please tell me your initiative, please.
I rolled
Roll 23.
14.
Okay, 16 to them. So 16, 14,
13.
13,
And 23.
7.
23, and 7. Okay, so this is
In the Earth
Buhawi.
Elemental, it's not coming through roll 20. It's not.
Yeah, it's not seeming to want to play today, so that's okay. We will just
That's all right,
go
that's all right. I'll
old-fashioned.
just roll a 20. I'll roll a 20 here.
Yeah, 13 was Marco, and then 7 for Theo. Thank you.
9.
And the.
Okay, so you, Buhawi, you are the top of the order there. What would you like to do?
Alright, so Howie would get off the platform, go now ready, and he would just shoot at, let's see.
Oh, and sorry, Theo, what would you get for the Earth Elemental?
9.
Oh, 8 actually, minus
8.
1.
Okay.
So 8 total.
He would shoot at the,
Okay.
he would shoot at the nearest at the ooze one that was on the map first.
Okay, so move into the space. It's 10 feet to move through Theo's
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
So 15 to get here.
He would attack twice on the jelly on the ooze that's on the map area.
There's one next to Rocky, which he's kind of giving cover to, or there's one over on its own.
He'll
So-
attack one on his own.
Okay, go for it. So please shoot to hit there. Hey, what's your roll to hit?
Yeah. It should show in roll 20.
27.
Okay, 27, that'll definitely hit. Yep, roll the damage.
You'd hope.
Level 5, yeah.
I can't do 27.
And then that's 8 piercing damage.
8 piercing damage. Okay, second attack. And Tap, you'll be after the slimes.
Yes.
Hits, roll damage.
Alright.
Nice, 10. Okay, so yeah, 2 arrows just go whistling from Buhawi's bow and embed deep into the creature, which kind of riles up, and pseudopods of the same slime kind of like just go like wacky waving inflatable thingy. Okay, I forgot the full name. Okay, thank you.
did it first, damn
it is their turn. So first, it's going to go for Rocky. Sorry, Rocky.
Oh.
Oh, Rocky.
Does a 15 hit?
It's okay. Rocky.
I thought you were burping. I was like, dude. Mute the mic.
Rocky. No, this is elemental talk. Oh shit, where is AC?
Deep speech.
17,
No,
you're okay.
17. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and the other one will go towards it, and that is going to be 17 hits. Just meets it, beats it. So that is going to be 9 bludgeoning damage.
Resistant, so taking half.
So
Or did
4
you-
down to
did you
4.
already-
Yep, no, that's fine.
Okay, 4. Thank
Yep.
you.
And poor Rocky takes. Where is it? Here we go. 2 psychic damage as well,
Oh.
as the pseudopod lashes out and hits it. Another.
Just
The
not
other one
smart
here.
enough.
Now, the other one here also goes to attack Rocky, but you see it's very slow. And you see this one will come over to you guys here, but it has to dash to get there. And this one also comes in your direction, but also dashes to get there. So you think if you wanted to disengage and run away, they would not be able to catch you. The other one's going to go for Rocky. That's going to be an 8. That misses. Okay. So, that brings us to... Tap, your turn. What would you like to do with Marco on deck?
So there's one of them right in front of me, right?
Sorry. There's one right there. Yes, indeed. It just came schlepping around the corner.
Right. So Tap takes out her quarterstaff and smacks it in the face.
Okay, go for it.
$13.
13?
Yep.
Hits.
And great. Okay. And then yeah, 5 damage.
5 damage. Okay. What kind of damage is that, please?
Bludgeoning.
5 bludgeoning. Okay. Thank you. So, yes, 5 there. Is there any resistances? Yeah, it does seem to resist that a little. As it kind of like just like takes in some of that damage there. Okay, but that's a couple of damage there. Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Am I able to... how far am I away from?
You have 2 attacks as well, yeah?
Oh, I can right here?
Yep.
Extra attackments.
2 attacks and flurry of blows if you so desire.
I will do a second attack with my quarterstaff.
Go for it.
Doing 5 damage.
What was the roll to hit?
Oh. 6.
Ooh.
Misses, I'm afraid. Yeah, just boom off like a big jelly.
Then I guess I'll do the flurry of blows.
Okay, so please make 2 unarmed attacks. Unarmed strike. Unarmed strike there. It's on your actions tab.
Right, okay. So I hit that one instead of flurry of blows?
Yeah, hit the +5 next to unarmed strike.
Okay. 11.
Hits. And the second one? Is it just 2? Is it 3? Hang on, I forget.
It's a bonus action to make an unarmed attack, and then another attack from flurry of blows.
Yes.
So I roll again?
Yeah, you have a second attack, yeah.
10.
10? Oh, using the flurry of blows as a bonus action as well, Marco.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that uses up the bonus action. That hits as well, so roll damage twice.
Okay.
D6 plus 2.
Flurry of blows?
Yeah, the unarmed strike one. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. Yeah, they're both the same.
Okay. 6.
And second one?
7.
7. Okay,
nice.
So yeah, nice. Again, doesn't do as much as you would hope, as the kind of gelatinous form sucks up some of that damage, but it does do the trick. Let me just make sure. Yeah, you don't get damaged when you punch it, so that's okay. Okay, thank you. Which brings us to Marco. What you doing?
I'm going to shoot it with my crossbow.
Okay, doke. It has some cover from Tap being there. Actually, no, I'd say with Tap being small, you can just shoot over their head.
Yeah, I'm standing right behind Tap.
Yep.
A 12.
A 12 hits?
12 to hit. Yeah, cool. Sneak attack?
Yep, you have your ally
Good
there.
boy. Goody. It's 3d6, isn't it? Yeah. Good. That's not too bad. 10, 13 points, and this is a magical crossbow.
Okay. What does that do?
Don't know if that changes things. It is the light crossbow of warning. So it doesn't do magical. It doesn't. The magic is the damage isn't increased by it. It just I can't be snuck up on.
Yes, it can't surprise you. Yeah. so they didn't.
While
get a
I'm
surprise
holding
round.
it, but the thing itself is a magic item.
Yes.
And I don't know if that is a magic weapon, so
Worth checking. Worth
does
checking.
it do magic damage?
No, it was the bludgeoning manner of the damage that was the problem. So piercing damage is okay. As we like to say on the channel over here, Marco, which you haven't heard because you only played Deadlands. Tell me what happens.
Hey! Yeah. So Marco puts loads the crossbow, pulls it back, and twists the crossbow just a little bit. Twists the head of the crossbow, and just sort of aims right over Tap's head.
Okay.
And pulls the trigger, sort of almost point blank into this thing, and the head, this is just for flavor, it's not actually doesn't do any damage, but the head explodes inside.
Nice.
And the whole thing just sort of splats everywhere.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, this thing just explodes and dies there, and there's a big muck on the ground there. Okay, and anything else? Any bonus action?
Yes, the one that is right next to, that is between Bahawi and Rocky.
Yes.
So is in fact functionally in base contact with two of them. I am going to use my telekinetic shove as a bonus action to push it away.
Okay, please. It's a strength saving throw for me.
13, yes.
Okay.
What do you
Natural 20. It's like
doesn't do it then.
Hungry. Too hungry to be shoved around. Okay, thank you though. Which brings us to Rocky. Theo. Now the
Smell.
yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please. The slam attack is clickable on the character sheet there. So if you just want to click that.
You sure about that? You sure about that? All right.
Smashy, smashy. Slam attack.
Splat.
Boom. There we
That'll
go.
hit.
25.
and then click where it says slam in chat to give the damage.
13 bludgeoning
13.
damage.
Is that to the left or right?
That is to my, as I'm looking on the screen, my left.
Okay. So yes, you grievously damage that one, as the other one is also already got 2 arrows sticking into it, which are dissolving slowly. And then it has another second attack.
It will focus then on the other one.
Okay.
And reach around and slammy.
24.
24.
Roll hit. Roll the damage. 11.
bludgeoning.
Okay, this one is on its last pseudopods. Usually say last legs. It's on its last pseudopods, which is what that red dot
I was
means.
just like,
Okay, thank you. Which brings us to you, Theo.
Having seen this, Theo will go ahead and take his little look at what's happening and decide to now call forth a thorn whip onto the one that's on its last pseudopod.
Okay, doke.
trying to whip that
Plus
pseudopod out from underneath.
What's the range on that?
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's a 9 because it's 60 feet with my spell sniper feet.
That hits.
But I got a 9.
It hits.
That hits?
Yep.
Well,
They have very low
shit.
dex.
Very slow and no armor.
That's a total of 7 damage.
Okay.
And
Again,
and
your
it gets
first time
pulled
on the channel.
5
The remains
Yep.
of it get pulled by how many feet? Tell me what happens.
Well, since this
Do you
is
want
Thor-
it to
since
come
this is-
towards you?
Well, since this is Thorn Whip, I have no other choice. It's like, well, you're far away. I'll just pull it a little closer, and I think, okay, I'll just bring it a little closer. Maybe I'll whack it with my staff. Then after that, and the Thorn Whip comes out from my fingers. It starts with a greenish energy that pulls forth from all of the air. You feel a sudden little drop in the pressure, but it's nice. And then this green energy forms these thorny whips out from Theo's fingers. It wraps around this ooze and gets a little too tight and pops his head off like a zit and just oh.
Nice. Okay, yeah, and then just a splash comes towards you. Almost Bahawi almost kind of splats on the ground at your talons, but does not hit you.
Hey!
Sorry.
Careful.
And speaking of, Bahawi, it's your turn.
All right, since there's only one that nearby him, he would use his free action to drop his longbow, since shooting it point blank is pretty much asking for trouble, and draws out his 2 short swords.
Go for it.
All right, so I'm assuming that bonus action is only one. Bonus action attack with a short sword is one only, or
It is. You do have. You have 2-hand fighting. So you can roll your normal attack and then roll the offhand attack. Definitely, yeah. So you roll both normal to hit, but the second attack doesn't get the +4 to damage. Okay, so that hits.
But he also has extra attack, so 3.
Yes, indeed.
Oof.
So that's 7.
Oof.
Now, let me just do one thing for you there, Buhawi. As you lash out at this creature, this is slashing damage, right?
Oh no.
Oh no,
no, it's piercing. Piercing.
Oh yeah, it's short swords. It doesn't
These
make
are not
any
scimitars.
sense, but yeah.
I'm not Dritz, okay?
Point. Okay, so yeah, piercing damage. Okay, so that's 7, and the second one hits as well. Go for it.
The Gladius. Snap.
Roll once more to hit.
10.
Yep. Also hits. Oh, sorry, no. So that's enough. Yeah. So you again, your turn. Tell me what happens as you run this slime through and through.
All right, so as he drops his longbow, he draws from his short sword and does a few jabs at it, causing it to ooze out its acidic slime, as if it were like someone deflated a water balloon, and then one more would also turn it into nothing more than a pile of acid. A bit messy, but
indeed. Now you still have your offhand attack if you want to dash forward and help Rocky.
he would do that. So he would. So
So
it'll
dash
be.
to here. Just run there.
Right, you run there, and
Just
then
like a waft of your wings as it carries you up and over the slime, the remains of the slime, and roll to attack.
I rolled the potato.
Oh,
natural 1.
No.
Oh.
You miss. And so please roll me the d6 damage. Mine without the +4. Just a straight d6.
It's a 1.
1. Okay, that's good because Rocky takes that 1 damage.
Oh
no.
no, Rocky!
Sorry. Oh wait, it's piercing. Wouldn't that be resistant?
But minimum of 1. Minimum of 1.
Right.
So-
Rocky looks over and waves like,
No problem.
Stop tickling. Okay. Okay, that last remaining slime will go for you, Bahawi, as the more edible of the 2 options. With a pseudopod, that is going to be a 19 to hit.
Hits.
Okay, so that is 10 bludgeoning damage
Oh
and 6 psychic.
oh my gosh!
So slam just slams into the side of you, and you just feel this shockwave of psychic energy
Ow.
just like wash through you. It's like, forgive us. We did not know what we meddled with. And slams into you.
Oh.
Oh, so what's the regret?
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Regretful
that's
rage. Okay, and that brings us to Tap.
Tap hears in her ear Margot say, "Get him, kid."
So, Tap is watching the destruction in front of her and is in a very she's never really had to deal with this before. She's lived in a library all her life. She's heard about battles and all of that, and she's gone through some adventures with this team before, but seeing that weird gelatinous thing just creeps her the hell out, and so she moves forward
Okay.
and decides to hit it with her staff.
Okay, go for it. So you have to just, hey, thanks for the follow. I would like run through and go like past Buhawi and through the space so you're there next to them there. Potato. Okay, roll to hit.
So 22.
That hits.
That's 4 bludgeoning.
Okay.
I'm
And
gonna
second.
do-
Do you have a second attack or yes? Right.
Yeah.
Yep,
I'll
second
do
attack.
Unarmed.
No,
not
you get a second
sorry,
quarterstaff attack as well.
Hmm?
You
Oh,
have a second quarterstaff attack. Yep.
Okay, then I'll do that one.
Okay.
19
Hits.
and 6 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, nice. It's looking very bad. This is also on its last pseudopods. And then you want to spend a key point for your unarmed strike?
Finish him.
Yes. I'll use a key point to do unarmed strike.
Okay.
Rocky becomes a little hype man for you.
Go, go, go.
10.
10 hits. Because they're useless.
And
They
5.
hit hard, but they don't dodge
damage.
hard. 5 damage, okay. And then you've got one more unarmed strike.
You can do it. I don't want to kill Still again.
11.
Hits.
4 damage.
4. Reduced to 2.
Oh no!
Tell me what happens.
Yes!
Heyo.
How do you do it?
So, since she was in a flurry because she just thought that those things of goo were just fucking gross,
Fair.
she moves forward
Get away, get away, get away!
and slides underneath Bowie's legs
Yes.
since he's tall. She takes
This time
out
he's
her.
unfazed. Then he's unfazed. Since he got half of slime earlier.
Yep, so you go
She-
sliding through there between Rocky and Bahawi, yep.
Yeah, and she takes out her staff and whacks him twice, like in both directions, before putting the staff back and just punching it.
Boom, boom. 2 punches, and Rocky just sees these Mapak monk paws just erupt through the back of this slime, and it just loses its consistency and dissolves into the cracks of the map again from whence it came. Okay. And
Rocky bends over. Rocky bends over and holds up a hand for a little high five.
Cap does the high five
by.
and then climbs up on his shoulders.
Nice.
Sure.
Nice.
Sure.
okay.
I would like
All right.
I would like to use my telekinesis to clear all of the goo off the map.
Certainly, yes. Just goes all over it, no problem at all.
Ugh, horrible.
Okay.
We're out of combat. We're out of combat now.
You are out of initiative, yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't do. Theo will look over at Bahawi and close their eyes and say,
Just let me take care of them.
and we'll use the Balm of the Summer Court to roll 2d6 for you,
Okay.
and you get 5 hit points back, plus 2 temporary hit points.
Nice. To Bahawi.
To Bahawi, yes.
Nice.
Thank you kindly.
Um,
A very generous thing to do,
I would-
which is less generous than I am being to this spam in chat. Goodbye.
yeah.
Bye, bot.
I would like to investigate the blue gem on the
Okay.
floor.
Please roll me an investigation check.
Hey. I had a +0, 17.
Okay. The intensity of the light seems to be about half as strong as the 2 red ones. So it seems to be kind of like almost like a power level thing.
Sure.
So you kind of get the feeling the red ones are full power, the blue is kind of like at half power, and then the
The flickering ones
the
dying.
one is out, out of
Yeah.
operation. Out of
Given
order.
what I know of the area, does that sort of track? Is the forest to the southeast less luscious?
You haven't heard of any problems like that, no. So it seems as long as there's power, it's okay.
Okay, interesting. That's something we should possibly tell Castian to look into.
Yes.
All right. Well, shall we?
We shall.
Let's.
Okay, yeah. So you head on down to the next elevator.
Yes.
take me on an elevator ride.
Actually, just I'll just bunch you up in the center here. It'll be easier. Oh, thank you. There we go. That's good. Sorry, Theo.
Oh, I've been booted off.
Get out.
There's only room for 4. Sorry. We like Rocky. We're keeping him.
Rocky's just like, your name's not down. You're not coming in.
It's like two stormtroopers carrying a Wookiee into the elevator.
And you descend into the depths once more and find yourselves here. Boop.
Oh dear.
Ooh.
Oh, that's good.
So, as the platform rumbles and descends deeper into the pyramid, you find yourself in this similarly sized chamber in the depths below the ground. When the door opens from the platform's shaft, the chamber beyond exhales, and a heavy film of dust coats your mouth and tongue. The chamber's walls are lined from floor to ceiling with ebonwood bookcases packed with tightly rolled scrolls. Tomes and scrolls containing ancient Illuran scriptures and hymns lay scattered across the floor and 2 wide desks. In the center of the chamber rests the remains of a battered stone construct. At the head of the room stands a stone pedestal, marbled with veins of arcane red energy and topped with a sagging pouch of sand.
I think we've found what we came to look for.
Yep. Marco,
Yes.
do you have the heart of Dako?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, shit. No, I knew I forgot something.
Oh no!
No, sorry. Yes, of course I do.
All right.
Please
question-
tell me you did not keep that in your sporin, like I told you. Keep it away from that part of you.
Oh,
What would you like to do?
it's a fanny pack.
The problem is that how are we supposed to swap the bag of sand with crystal itself without triggering whatever is holding it
Well,
holding line?
what? So I'm looking around and seeing an awful lot of paper on the floor as well. Does it look like it's been ransacked?
Yes, looks like the companions may have done the place over as they were coming
They
through.
were not
Cap
particularly tidy.
Infuriated at all of the fallen scrolls on the ground.
It's got Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Her fur bristles up as she sees the destruction of this room.
Oh,
So
but
much
that would make you so
knowledge.
floofy. Little
What have
floofy
they
macaque.
done?
It's like, nice.
Well, I can try and replace it. I could do the switcheroo like they did. I mean, I've always wanted a bag of sand.
All right.
I got a jaw dirt. I got a jaw dirt.
Exactly.
Maybe we could have Rocky. Why don't we do it in sync? Like have Rocky hold the bag of sand while Mark at the same time place back the crystal.
Oh,
Good,
look,
Rocky.
they're not
Rocky's-
too heavy. I
Rocky's
can do.
kind of a.
It's not,
Not too-
a,
not too
Rocky
dexterous.
doesn't have great dexterity.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, he's,
Because
bless
I'm-
his heart. It's in the right
Because
place.
I'm worried more that it's not about the weight itself. It's more like how quickly can we swap it without triggering the trap.
oh,
Because-
Well,
absolutely.
Who's got Mage Hand? Who here can cast Mage Hand? I think
I
a
have
couple of you.
Mage Hand.
Yo.
Yeah,
Alright,
so I think
right.
2 of you work together. Carry one of you one of you carry this Heart of Darkness or whatever it's called over to that, and then the other one pulls the bag of sand away. This seems like a coordinated effort, and we don't have to
Can
leave
I-
the safety of our elevator.
I mean, I probably already have, and I feel like Tap already has as well. Gone and started looking at the scrolls and stuff.
Yes.
Oh,
What-
oh, you
I
have
would-
okay.
Yeah, sorry, I would already have been in the room.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Well, then, if everybody else is going, I'm using my furball magic and doing a detect magic.
Okay.
So it's my innate ability to do that, and I
Please,
walk around
yeah.
looking for all the magic stuff.
Okay, there is a very strong sense of magic from the construct and from the plinth in the center of the room. And as you make your way into the room and get a better view of that, you see that the construct is made in the image of an Alluran warrior wearing its finery, but there is a large cavity carved into its chest. And let's see, Theo,
Yes.
as the main kind of as the main spellcaster here, and I think Tap with your readings and knowledge, you can see that the heart of Dako is exactly sized to fit in that cavity.
What have they taken from the... If Tap thinks to herself while she looks at the warrior and then at the pedestal, which exactly do we put the heart of Dako?
It goes right into there. I think this is all part of the
Yeah.
trapping nets trap stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Where's
I think
Rocky at the moment,
hard-
Theo? Sorry.
I just dropped him right into the beginning of the room, so right now,
see.
just in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
He's blocking the door.
Well, you know, like a good elemental would.
So I would assume that right now Tap is doing investigation on the schools to try and find out if there's anything we particularly need to do to put it back in.
Okay, give me
Howie
an
would-
investigation check. Yep. And
Wait,
Buhawi?
before you roll, Howie would help out Tap with the investigation as well.
Okay, so yeah,
Since-
you're both looking around the room, looking through the papers
Yeah.
and scrolls. Okay, thank you. So Tap, you get advantage on your investigation. Marco, are you switching the items?
Sorry, I didn't.
I'm not going to do that until my learned friend has just determined that that's in fact the right thing to do, because Marco is
11.
with
Okay.
advantage.
With advantage.
Oh.
Okay,
Well, I mean,
you find
I clicked advantage.
you
I
get.
don't know if I did it right.
I think you get distracted by lots of interesting fables and histories of the Alluran people, and you do not find what you're looking for before Marco gets impatient. And
Marco says, "Well, so this is the heart. Do you suppose this is Dako?"
I would. You know what? I am not one. I'm not one for the entire history of here, but it appears from a magical standpoint that goes into that construct.
I don't disagree with you, but then what happens when we do that? Do you think the construct wakes up?
And then kills us?
Well, I think what we do is we leave Rocky in here. We all go into the elevator, and you take a mage hand and put it in there. And
You know
we'll
Rocky
see
can
what
hear you,
happens.
right?
Yes.
Rocky, well, see, here's what happens when you conjure an elemental. You just bring forth the elemental. It's like it's not really the elemental itself. It's just the inhabitants. Once it's gone, whatever existed in the elemental goes back to the plane which we brought it from. It's not actually dying. It's kind of like a fey thing.
But we
Right.
still shouldn't be mean.
Total
That's-
bullshit.
Oh, it's like a
I'm
flea
just
seek
saying.
fox.
Sure.
So are you sure that
Species.
so are you sure that the heart of Dako goes into the construct and not onto the pedestal or plate?
Well, according to to my learned knowledge of what is arcane and
Oh.
my extensive use of Tetris, yeah, it looks like it goes right in that slot.
I mean, yes,
Tap-
but it also looks like it goes right on the top of this pedestal.
it does. It would fit
That's
nicely.
not what I get.
It would fit nicely either way. And
And-
the companions
and
found it on the
that's-
pedestal.
And that's where they found it.
So, are you just DM just from you're saying your investigation that Theo would be more inclined to think that it goes into the construct?
It seems to fit both.
Maybe
nicely.
I missed that. All right.
Yeah, it was on the pedestal when they found it, and but it does fit in the construct. Yes, definitely.
See, I think maybe it belongs in the construct. See, look, we went back to that other room with the 4 lights. One was out. There was obviously this room. That was obviously this
Yeah.
temple. Then
Yeah.
there was one that was blue, not as strong as the other ones. Now, maybe, hear me out here. maybe that one also had the a Heart of Dako on a desk rather than inside the construct, and inside the construct is where it belongs.
Well, then I tell you
to-
what. Why don't we put it on the pedestal first and test your theory and go back up and have a look at the map?
You know what? I just realized I walked myself right into that one. Sure, we'll
right.
do it that way.
All right, so
But
who-
if
so
you
who's
don't
the
do
big-
it quick enough, and something goes goofy, then a big ball is going to be rolling down a chute at you.
I mean, I know.
By the way, Theo and Tap, and actually all of you have passive. Oh no, I was looking at the wrong one. Passive perception. Everyone with a passive perception over 15. So
I have a 20.
Yeah, Buhawi, Marco, Buhawi and Marco. You hear the sound of the elevator moving.
Oh,
Oh dear.
Oh,
Tap
is it moving
asks-
moving up or down?
Difficult to tell. Doors
Tap
closed.
asks-
There's someone.
We don't have much time, so let's just do it on the pedestal for the time being.
so Tap casts
And yeah.
takes the Heart of Dako.
Ah. Easy there, Tap. Easy.
And then
Yes,
puts
it's
it,
11 o'clock. So
and then
If we are about to have company, then allies might be useful.
puts it in
All right.
the statue.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Tap, you take the Heart of Dako and reach towards the construct. Just as you're reaching, stretching up to its chest, it's quite a bit taller than you. The door rumbles open from the moving platform, and you see a white-furred Eloran as Nadia is there, and she cries out, "Stop!" The voice of Nadia Dar rings out as she dashes into. Well, she tries to dash into the room, but Rocky just kind of blocks her, and her whip
Hold her.
snaps in the air. Her eyes are wide and wild with fury. She points at the Heart of Dako. "That belongs in a museum!"
Tap says, "Fuck you," and puts it in.
Theo looks around and says, "So do you."
Oh, and as you reach up, Tap, yes, the Heart of Dako, much like the pedestal statues, magnetically almost is drawn into the chest, and you see intricate lines of red arcane energy, just lattice work across the construct, and there's a rumbling of stone as it ponderously moves. And as all of you are looking up at it, it surveys the room, taking in the scene, and points at the southern bookcase. And then turns and goes towards Nadia.
All right.
I go to the southern bookcase.
Just
Yeah.
What have you done?
Don't
What have you?
worry.
Oh my God!
Rocky, get out of the way. Rocky, get out of the way.
Now-
Let it pass. Let it
Sure
pass.
thing, boss.
All right. Nadia's gonna have a hard time dealing with two constructs, essentially.
I mean, yeah, Rocky could fight a rearguard action here. So, yeah, let's say Rocky and the constructs are both there. And
Right.
hang on, let me just bring Nadia here. Boop.
Theo,
Okay.
we'll just saunter around there a little bit.
Okay, yeah, and
I don't
you
wanna
make
take
your way
any
around the
damage.
pedestal down to that southern part of the room there, and as you make your way down there, you let's have a look here. Excuse me.
Really nice use of selective darkness there as well, John. I'd like to applaud that. It does look rather like there's a doorway or something.
I don't know what you mean.
Wow. Well, your perception check was very high there.
I was like, it's slightly off. Shall I move it? Nah, it's fine.
It was really good. I only just noticed it. I was just like,
Okay,
that's
good.
pretty damn good.
So yeah, as you start to inspect the bookcase, it reacts. Veins of ruby light trace arcane patterns across the bookcase's surface, and it moves ponderously to the right. Like this.
The candle back.
And you see
Roll in the hay.
one last platform ahead of you, and as you all dash on, as you hear the sounds of desperate combat from behind, as the construct seems to be battling against Nadia, who is on her own, by the way. You do notice here.
Yeah.
Anyway, as you jump into the final platform there, who's missing? Or is somebody on top of someone else?
No, they're all standing under.
Yeah, we're on
There
top
you
of one another.
Okay. So yes, the four of you jump in and descend below the floor level as you see the battle raging to the north, and you arrive in the final chamber. Spoilers.
I really had thought that was the final chamber.
So did the Companions of the Blue Rose, which is important.
Ah.
And you arrive here.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Why?
That's
I
I
believe
guess this is the heart of Dako.
So
I think
indeed,
you're absolutely right. That was a ruse up there.
as the
Clever
stone
attempt
lift
to fool us.
descends, carrying you deep into the belly of the Temple of Nabar, a light gently pulses far below, a warm and red, beckoning you down. When the lift lands, a squeal of steam pierces the air, accompanied by the thrum of some strange arcane current, almost like a heartbeat. The pulsing red light is coming from a circular window in the middle of the room's floor. As you approach the window, you hear the click of a pressure plate, and the floor continues to descend further into the earth. The earth swallows up and takes you in, and when the platform finally slows to a stop, a set of massive doors are illuminated with ancient Illyrian script before you. Pushing through them, you see a massive red crystal suspended in an ovoid obsidian cage floating in the center of the chamber. The cage hovers inches above a pedestal composed of a tangle of obsidian vines that grow wider at the base, snaking off into the dirt like roots of a tree. The reflection of the warm ruby makes the obsidian look almost alive. The caged crystal pulses with life, beating in time to the great rhythm. Obsidian eggs resembling the heart of Dako litter the floor around you. Their centers are cracked and grey, save one whose flawless facets give off a faint light. Broken Illyrian constructs reside in each corner of the room, trapped in tangles of vibrant plant life. And you are confronted by the true heart.
So the one that Nadia took was actually a power source? He asked to the companions.
yes, it wasn't really the heart of Dako, which is good,
Indeed.
but
Heart-
also
the
it's
heart
good
of
that
Dako.
we came anyway because this one would seem to be still running out of power and needs a top up.
Tap, you see written in Illyrian above the door, here lies Dako's true heart. Just in case you weren't sure.
This is Dako's true heart. That is what the scripture reads. I am
Oh.
assuming that the warrior of Dako there was the guardian of the true heart.
Fair.
Yeah, that or multiple constructs were guarding the heart of Dako. Anyway, with
Well,
the
that's
crystal,
what these are.
yeah, they're meant to guard the real one. So with this one too big, I honestly doubt that either of us would be able to carry it over. And considering Rocky's still above dealing with Nadia, I say we leave it here, and
Oh,
perhaps
sure.
and perhaps try to wait to prevent anyone else from getting it
There-
there.
There must
Well-
be a reason that the elemental pointed us to put down here, though.
Well, didn't you say, sorry, when you were describing it, there was the heart itself has that same sort of, there's a bunch of them on the floor and most of them are cracked and old, but except for one.
Indeed.
And so, Vilnius would go over to that one and
Okay.
say, my suspicion is that we need to put this somewhere.
So you'll step into the room there?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
why not?
Okay, so as the four of you step through the doors into the True Heart's chamber, the True Heart pulses, and your surroundings fade away.
Oh,
Oh,
The heart of
Country?
Dako that you carried across the wilds and replaced in its guardian home materializes in your mind. It hovers over a lifeless jungle entombed in white crystal. Its ruby core pulses with red energy, radiating warmth that melts away the frost, reviving the forest life. understanding sets in as the land below thaws. You recognize the frozen prison as ice. Your mind is pulled further upwards. From this altitude, you can see other illuminated cells soaring across the southern continent, each pulse with the same warm light, breathing vitality into the jungle. You feel the weight of responsibility as the true heart calls you back. The temple needs help. You recognize that you cannot be that help. As the room comes into focus, the true heart pulses a second time. Something shifts within the temple, and you know that it no longer poses any danger to you. Before the connection is severed, you feel the true heart's final thanks. As words resonate in your mind, may the promising guide lead you. And the name of that guiding star echoes in your minds as you rematerialize here in the chamber. And looking around at the various broken hearts of Dako, you realize that this would require an understanding of Illuran metallurgy and gemology and elemental properties that you do not have. But Tap, you think Caspian may be more read up upon these things.
Yes, we should give this information to Caspian. I'm sure he'll be more help than us.
Yeah,
Do you
but
think we
but
should take this with us?
Yeah, but we need to explain to not. But we'll have a bit of a problem since we just attacked the Caspian superior above, and Nadia would, and who knows what Nadia would do with the true heart of Dako.
I doubt Nadia will be leaving this place.
Yes, I believe she will die. But the point in the matter is that we should bring Caspian here. We should not move anything from this temple.
All right.
I have an
agree.
idea though, but Tap, do you think you can write up a message? Do you have spare paper and ink? Maybe you can write a letter to Caspian, and then I'll have Aguila send that to him.
I do have my journal to write.
Maybe you can write a missive for Caspian, explain the situation, and then I'll have my little companion here, Aguila, to transport said message to Caspian. That way, we can still guard the true heart of Dako should the constructs fall.
I do not believe he would be able to come here by himself. He did not wish to come here with all of us.
And the temple did not grant him safe passage.
But they granted us safe passage. But
So we can leave, go get
then
Caspian and bring him back.
All right, but
If
one
It's
you-
not that long a trip.
All right. I guess we can I guess we can go back then.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're leaving the heart here.
Are we? We're still. I mean, are we missing something here?
No, I mean in the.
As you actually look into the room and go around those broken hearts of Dako, you feel a telepathic communication from them as they are granted that ability this close to the true heart, and you feel like a compelling kind of drive to have them repaired and to help them be repaired. Seek out someone who could repair them, and you again that blessing is echoing in your mind. May the promising guide lead you.
So we will guide Caspian here to fix these within the temple.
Yeah.
I believe it is too dangerous to take all of these out of the temple.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
I agree, and plus they're just too damn heavy.
Yeah.
Pulled my back out a little bit ago. Sleeping on the dirt doesn't help. Okay. Well, we can definitely do that. So we in agreement then? Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You decide to head back and talk with Caspian back at the Wayfarer Guide Lodge. And as you clamber back onto the platform and rise up to the construct's chamber, you see the construct standing there once more, with the heart of Dako on the plinth, not in its chest. And as you observe, the heart of Dako glows brighter and brighter, reaching almost an unbearable brightness before it automatically lifts up off the plinth and goes back into the construct. It seems that it was just short of being recharged when the companions of the Blue Rose stole it away. And it seems that the construct is able to place it on the recharging pedestal itself as it starts to lose power. And the timing of the companions was fortunate, it seems, in that regard. But Nadia and Rocky are nowhere to be seen.
This isn't good.
He lived. He died as he lived. Just doing
Quickly.
a Rocky thing.
But if Nadia is nowhere to be seen, she is still alive.
You dash across the chamber. The Guardian nods at you as you pass. You rise up through the layers. The rooms above do not offer you, as it felt, any danger at all. And you make your way through the various chambers and back to the surface as you emerge, blinking into the twilight as you spent the most of this day down here in the depths of the pyramid. As you emerge into the twilight of the area in front of the pyramid, you see Rocky stoops down on one knee a short ways away from the entrance to the pyramid, and he stands and turns.
Welcome back, boss.
And as he turns, you see there's a freshly disturbed section of earth in front of him.
I buried the garbage.
Rocky.
Oh boy.
Rocky.
Let her nourish the jungle as she threatened to destroy it.
You are the bestest of friends. Now, now it is time for me to release you from your commitment.
He comes over, clump, 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 puts one big ponderous hand on your shoulder. And as he starts to get drawn back into the crystal, his eyes lock with yours.
Friends do not send each other into traps.
He has a point.
I hired him. He wasn't my friend.
And you cautiously make your way back through the jungle, taking a little extra time as you find a way around the broken rope bridge across the Red Roar River.
How about I gotta rebuild that bridge eventually?
I could just thorn whip. Thorn whip, grab it again, bring it over, you just secure it, we're done.
Even with 60 feet, it was an 80-foot chasm, I'm afraid.
Oh, well, piss off.
We can fly.
I will give you a bonus
I
here.
won't go over.
As you are taking the detour around the broken bridge, you come across a glade with a wide thermal pool, and bobbing in the pool are the heads of 4 kapu. And Theo, you use your druidic powers to tame the beasts, and thus it is that you ride back to Wayfair Station atop your kapu mounts.
Oh, that's so brilliant. I want one. I want one so damn bad.
And as you come nosy on back into town, as you mosey back into the station, the Waypoint Station, sorry, Wayfair Station, you are greeted excitedly by Caspian as he comes running out of the pavilion towards you, very excitedly. And let's just come back over here to the main screen. And he delightedly tells you what has happened in your absence. It seems that the rest of the companions of the Blue Rose had a falling out with Nadia, and they considered themselves still to be honorable, noble adventurers and did not want to pursue you and threaten you. And she, enraged by losing out on this prize, decided to press on her own and went on to the temple by herself. The other companions came back the previous day, and as they arrived here, they promised, as they were now empty-handed, they promised to settle their debts with the tree wardens the next day, of course. But then, during the night, they snuck out of the guide station, and even with their head start, the Tilia tree wardens have assured Caspian that they will be hunted down. Thank you so much for that gifted sub. And so, yes, you know that the remaining members of the companions are being hotly pursued by Tilia tree wardens through the jungles here, and you know that probably will not end well for them. Caspian gladly hands over the 100 gold to each of you. A nice pouch, a weighty pouch of 100 gold for each of you. And he's like, my friends, I'm so glad that you were able to sort things out. So,
Caspian, there's a bit of a complication, and we could use a bit of your expertise.
Okay.
Yes, we need your help repairing the other hearts of Dako within the temple.
I think this aligns with certain continuations of my research I did in your absence. Yes, it seems that long before the temple fell into ruin, it was once safeguarded by certain caretakers. You know,
and you know that crystal that Nadia got and Command's got. That's actually a power source. The true heart of Dako is still within the temple.
I have researched such ancient Iloran technologies, and I think I may be able to assist. You know what's up. And you described everything that happened while you were there.
I showed him my journal of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was particularly interested by the description of the room full of scrolls and books. And he's like, I think a research expedition may be in order. What say you, Tap? Are you up to return to the pyramid once more?
Yes, of course.
And as you finish up here and take a well-earned rest at Wayfarer Station, Caspian prepares for an expedition back to the Temple of Nabar to restore the various hearts of Dako to their former working condition, and thus ensure that the true heart's vision of ice-imprisoned jungle never comes to pass. And that is where we shall leave today. Sorry to run over a little bit.
No worries.
I skipped a potential 3 combats and 1 room in the temple, so God knows how long that's supposed to run.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, I can tell. That's probably a 2-3 streamer right there.
Right, it's like that's like old school D&D days where you're just with your mates and you spend all day doing it. You have lunch in the middle.
Yeah, it's a one shot. I'm like, is it really? We ran Wakeworm's Fury, which was the other one shot that we ran, and it was 4 Fs. And admittedly, I embellished it a little bit, but it was still. I was just like, this is not one. This is 12 hours of play.
Yeah.
Well,
I ran another Humblewood one shot, and it stretched to 2.5 sessions.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I hope that was enough to keep you all entertained, and you've enjoyed your jaunt into the jungles.
First time in a one shot. That's pretty great.
It is tricky to wrap up nicely. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you very, very much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure. Josh the Pirate, Marco, thank you as always. And I'm looking forward to heading back into the Deadlands to deal with all those nasty zombies that we were left contesting with on Friday. That'll be happening. Yeah. Yes, a massive thank you to all of you. Quantum, as Tap, thank you very much. Absolute pleasure.
I loved it.
Maharishi as Theo, thank you so much.
As well, really.
Thank you very much. It was delightful. Thank you. It was such an honor to be on this table with such great players.
Likewise. I'm sorry, Josh.
I was going to say, yeah, Tap was adorable. Theo was fascinating. I really liked Theo. There was a lot of depth there. And yeah, Bahawi was there was clearly a lot of thought had gone into it as well. Really enjoyed.
Yes.
All the other characters were really quite well fleshed out.
Yes, and Rubblejack says Bahawi, thank you so much.
It's been an honor, John. Thank you for inviting me to the table.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm like I said, this is our first ever community one shot, so I did not know what to expect, but I'm glad it was this.
We walked into it as if we've been playing for years. It really felt like that. We were all
Funny
playing.
enough.
We were bouncing off each other very, very well. I
Very
loved it.
nicely, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And as I said, I look forward to seeing you in chat again very soon, and maybe around the table again someday. Thank you so much, everyone, and a massive thank you to everyone that's joined us as well. I see your other DM, Milady Saito, is over there. Sorry, there's me.
So nice, so nice.
Wondering if there was a
Nice of her to
Japanese
come
expression,
by.
but it was me misspelling Saito. Sorry, not that Saito. Okay,
it's
Milady
all-
Saito, you may take him back now.
What? Get sucked back into the void.
GM portal. Okay, a massive thank you, everyone. I hope you had some fun as well. Do stick around as we head on raiding. Our good friend Dead Aussie Gamer is doing some shenanigans over there. Let us go and see him. And I hope that you have all had a lovely time. Do join us again. Let's see what's going on. Tomorrow we have Rhyme of the Frost Maiden, and then later we'll be rolling through our usual schedule of Out of the Abyss, Barovia and Beyond, Deadlands this Friday, after Wild Beyond the Witchlight, and then into Candlekeep Mysteries on Saturday. Theo, Maharishi, what's coming up with you over on Milady Saito?
Well, we're continuing to play our usual weekly games every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturdays. Every other Saturday, Monday and Wednesdays. It's a continuous campaign in her lovely world. I play Quinn, the Human Druid, on Mondays, and you can catch the other party that's tramping through the rest of her one shot on Wednesdays.
Fabulous. Okay,
and then we
and there
have
is
lots
Milady
of other
Saito's
things
channel
going on.
there. Do head on over there and give them a follow. And continue to
them a
see
follow.
Maharishi playing as another druid, a human druid in that case. Thank you all so much. Beauty to it, Nuclean. All right, thank you so much, everybody. So, as I said, do stick around for the raid. And if you've got them, let those phoenixes fly. But, as we like to say around these parts, oyasumi nasai. Thank you, everyone. Oyasumi.
See ya.